Yo, I wanna watch something on my phone here. It's something I said after the 2019 Expo.
Yo, what's poppin'? First up, new tattoo motherfuckers. Yeah.
I got this one.
So, it's not super new, but with this project video.
So, project video, right? The old editing team really fucked up. I had everything lined up, spam called them, made sure they just kept on making excuses. I tried to edit, I can't edit. However, now we do have some more reliable people. In that video, I got this tattoo right here. Since then, a lot's happened. I got this, I've got this, I've got my most recent tattoo, which you can't really see, and then I got this puppet. Again, you can't really see, but it's a red Suicide Serpent from Riverdale, and I got a Grim Reaper on the back of my leg. All in total makes 10 tattoos for me. So why is that a big deal? Well, for me, tattoos help. They're like therapy, and I mean, they're dope as shit. So why not, right? However, as said in previous interviews, it also can help with a lot of other things, as well as I learned. It can also make your immune system stronger. Yeah, I know. I didn't actually know that, and well, now I do. I don't really have a strict plan for what I'm gonna film or do for the 2022 Expo. Again, it's literally later today. It is of time recording this. It is Friday, April 29th. That's AM. So I do kind of want to get more this time, is the thing. And we aren't gonna just throw out what we had. We're gonna have like from then to now, okay? Kind of like a bigger video, and I know it's just not 1 year. Again, I apologize. There's nothing really I can say though for it. I thought the people I had at the time could deliver. They couldn't, just kept on making excuses. I don't really know, but what I do know, that it's gonna be fucking dope. I know that for a fact. However, I will obviously put this video up on screen.
Tattoo Expo.
But
it is new.
Yeah.
I got it the last day of the Expo. Why I even filmed the Expo was because I find tattoos are an art form, which some people like, some people don't. But my view on it,
yes, I still find it an art form, but my ideas about tattoos and views on them have changed from just an art form. More than that, now I actually help them to cope with stuff. As you know, this whole arm is gonna be my memorial arm. Quotes from my mother. Rose is random. This is for a few people. Along with being art and therapy, they also can be a way to honor a lot of things. Love for pop culture, random stuff, art, list goes on. And it's hard just to stick to one. What to expect from it? No, there's still gonna be music and live events going on, along with people after COVID. So that's exciting. I probably won't be getting a tattoo. I did just though get this one. So that one is for Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. There will be a separate video on that. That's coming. Don't worry. Oh yeah. But that's all I can say right now in the AM. So make another when the Expo is going on before it happens. Because I'm gonna go a bit early to both help set up and other stuff. But I'm gonna expect the best.
Shoot fire as it's going in. Dark green sticking on my skin. Pressing harder as you go. Black mass will soon start to flow in my veins. Pressing harder as you go.
With the first tattoo expo, what got in your head to start like doing?
I just, I got a little, you know, I was wondering why Moncton had one, and I wondered why Halifax had one, and Fredericton didn't have one, so
I thought
I got a little bored and looking for something to do, so I decided to put one together for last year, and last year was such a good success, and everyone had fun, and the artists enjoyed themselves, so I decided to do year number 2.
Do you think there will be a 3? I mean,
I'm thinking there'll be a number 3, yeah.
How do you...
One of my sponsors right here, Mary Jane Vapes is one of my sponsors. She's fantastic.
Had a great weekend. Had a good time.
Thank you, darling.
Want to get tattooed right now?
Yeah. Excellent.
See you in a few.
How do you go about getting the artists and sponsors?
Last year it was me contacting most of the artists personally through email and through Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And for this year's expo, a lot of the artists contacted me and said they want to come back. So that's a really, really good thing. It's a really positive thing to hear back from the artists that they want to come back. So
and it helps them build connections.
Yeah, like and a lot of the artists come here just to see other artists because they haven't seen them in a year, or it's just a get together for those guys too.
How do you feel when it's done? Do you feel like
I feel a load off the shoulders after it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get in a bittersweet moment the last 2 days or something?
Yeah, a little bit. I start actually while I'm here for this expo, I'm starting to actually think about next year's expo already. So it's just what I can do better and what I can change and stuff like that for next year. So
how many tattoos would you get at each expo?
How many tattoos do I get?
Yes, or if you get any.
I normally try to get one. I got one this year from Kurt Silver from Silver City Tattoos in Halifax. Willie Nelson portrait, and I'm a big Willie Nelson fan. So I got one of. I usually try to get one every year.
How do you deal with putting on the expo and home? So family life.
Well, they understand that I'm not going to be home very much for 3 days, but they understand. I think my daughter was over here last night.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Yeah, she got her belly button pierced, and her aunt was here getting her nose pierced. So there's,
family outing.
Family outing, exactly.
So you said it just came across to you the first years because Moncton and Halifax and all around Thailand.
But I think Fredericton's a big tattoo town. If you look and
if you really look hard enough.
If you look hard enough, there's a lot of tattoo shops around town, a lot of good tattoo shops around town.
Yeah, and some of them are overlooked as well, which is actually kind of sad because they're excellent.
Yeah.
What did you learn from the first year's expo?
I learned a lot of stuff. I get a lot of feedback from artists that say, okay, you should do it this way maybe next year, or maybe change it up this way a little bit. One thing I learned was the tattoo artists, they're a very close-knit community. Yeah. They're in a group of their own. Yeah. They're talented. They're artistic. They all deserve respect. They do an amazing job. I learned a lot, and I got to meet a lot of new people, and it's fantastic.
And lastly, what is your opinion on scratchers?
Scratchers. Yes. What is my opinion on scratchers? I think it's good for the professional tattoo artist because if you go to a scratcher, then most likely you're going to go to a good tattoo artist to get that covered up. Scratchers for folks that are just tuning in are folks that just sit home at their kitchen table and play around with tattoo needles, which they shouldn't. They don't have the most clean environment. Let's put it that way. Not a good idea to go to a person tattooing in their kitchen or their den. Come to a professional, come to a tattoo expo. All the folks here are professional tattoo artists. They either own their own shop or they're employed by a shop. They know all it is about good hygiene and all that sort of stuff. So this is the place to get a tattoo or at a professional shop.
And if you want to plug anything, so to the website for the tattoo.
Yeah, swing by the website if you want. The website for the Fredericton Tattoo Expo is frederictontattooexpo.ca. And we have a merchandise page there where you can swing on by and buy t-shirts and buy coffee cups and buy just a bunch of other stuff as well. So swing on by there, and we'll be adding updates to that probably starting up in June.
You guys start pretty early.
We start early. We start planning early with our sponsors and stuff like that, and our vendors and our artists and stuff. So just keep it tuned to the website. Keep popping back there, and we'll see you in 2020.
How did you become a tattoo artist, and why did you?
I was always into art, and I always was drawing, and just love being creative. And definitely wanted to get in a career of that. First tattoo I seen was on my uncle, and I thought I was pretty fascinated with the idea of something that they wore around, and people would see your art everywhere, and that it lasted forever. So that really caught my attention and stuck in my head. And how was just originally looked for a few apprenticeships when I was younger, probably around 14, 15 to be honest, and that never worked out. Got into hair design, did that for 2 years, believe it or not, and through that I had another opportunity with Iron Mike in Truro, who was looking for an apprentice.
Yeah.
So I went in and said, man, I'd love to try out for that. So I learned with him, and from there continued to learn and take seminars and become educated, and that's how it began, I guess.
How do you deal with hate?
I personally don't feel like I get a lot of hatred towards me having tattoos. Where you tend to get hate in today's society is online and media, where people just will say whatever they think because that's what they enjoy to do.
Hate's going anyway today. Like, you don't get it as much. However, online
is where it's probably happening more freely.
Yeah.
And I do see it online. I do get it about my own work where I have a lot of followers.
Yeah.
You'll tend to have somebody who's followed you and never commented on anything, but makes one comment, a very negative comment.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's just as easy to be like, hey, they're allowed their own opinion, and never argue back with that.
Yeah.
You know, if I can, if it's real negative, I just don't think it should be on my page, I'll remove it, you know?
Yeah.
Or I'll try to discuss with them a little bit of the matter, like, hey man, I'm sorry you feel that way about this image, you know, but thanks for checking out my work. It's funny, often they'll instantly be like, hey man, sorry, I've had this where the guys have been like, you know, I'm just being a dick, and you know, I apologize, man. Like, you have some great work, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
A lot with any sort of like art stuff.
It's very subjective.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, you know. But
what's your best and worst tattoo story?
my best
can be inappropriate.
Right, yeah. They're really not, to be honest, I don't have an inappropriate one.
Yeah.
My best would be, it wasn't really even about the tattoo, it was about the experience. I was able to tattoo a young guy who was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yeah.
And to sit with him, he'd really come to peace with the idea that he only had a short time to live. And I was able to do this tattoo on him. And he was, honestly, it changed me in the way I thought about dying, because he seemed so at peace with it, so grateful for the things that were happening in his life. Like, he said, I feel really blessed. I was able to fit him in and to get tattooed because someone had called in and asked me and said, listen, something he's always wanted to be tattooed by you. So I was like more than obliged to try to do that. So it was an amazing experience all in all, and most memorable, sticks with me forever. My worst would be just my first few tattoos that I did myself, just sort of being alone and on that and trying to do something that you've really not done a lot. Most of the time they were on friends anyway, but just that stress you put on yourself and like realizing this is not as easy as I thought it would be. So that's really probably my worst experience with tattooing, you know.
What's your strangest customer request? Again, this can be like...
Okay, so I have one scenario, obviously there's no names in this. It was an email to me about a tattoo they needed to have done, and it was really not the content that they wanted done that was weird. It was the way that they were going about why they wanted to get the tattoo done. And they said they got tattooed.
Why they wanted it.
Well, yeah, the reason was that basically the aliens had told them that they need to get this tattoo, and that I was the person to do it. And I'm going to be honest, and it was longer and more detailed than that. It was very, very abstract and kind of freaky. I don't remember what the tattoo was now, but I was really like, oh wow, I don't know if I want to, right? Yeah, so that was probably my weirdest story that, you know, someone...
Do you practice other art forms?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So originally, before I tattooed, I was drawing with pencil and charcoal and doing some acrylic painting. And now since tattooing, I've learned other forms as well, like oil paint, which I love, love digital art. That's becoming bigger and bigger.
It's everywhere now.
Yeah, so it's almost that sort of like, there's a few great reasons I can work digitally and not have to clean up oil, and you know, but yet I can get that same effect, you know. So I feel like it could affect their life. I may just run it by them to think about. If it's like how to go about getting a tattoo and I'm giving them advice, it'd be a matter of
information.
Yeah, you know, make sure exactly what's the process going to be like, the long term of getting a tattoo, finding your artist, what you're looking for. You have this certain tattoo in mind. You should find someone who has a portfolio that has a lot of that style. You know.
What's your opinion on scratchers?
My opinion, I'm going to be dead honest about it, is I consider myself once a scratcher, of course.
Everyone starts.
When you start somewhere, you're an apprentice. You're not good. So the term scratcher typically means someone who...
It's lost meaning.
You know, it typically means they haven't tried to get better, haven't tried to learn, that they just decided, I don't care. People come to me and get tattooed in my house and I make $5 or I trade them for a case of beer. That would probably be the you know. But if you're trying and you're trying to get educated and you're taking seminars and you're reaching after better quality product and being safe, you know, and working towards becoming a professional, I don't have an issue with that, you know.
Do you feel that there should be a bit more regulations though with that?
So we're now in Nova Scotia. Yeah, we're in Nova Scotia now. We have regulations that just come in February, and I'm all for them. Yeah. You know, they're not outside of the norm of what most of us are doing anyway within the industry. The tattoo industry itself has been really well self-regulated, other than, you know, scratchers to the tournament at home and not taking care of what they're doing. But yeah, having a guideline for everybody, I think is not a bad idea at all. You know?
And if you want to say your Insta or anything,
okay. Yeah, so my name is Kurt Silver. I'm from Nova Scotia, Elmsdale, Nova Scotia, and my Instagram is just my name, @Kurt Silver, KIRTSILVER. So give us a follow, check it out.
How and why did you become an artist?
It's not a good story, I just kind of fell into it.
All right, this is how we're starting.
Yeah, I just fell into it, didn't plan it. I was in a town, you wanted an apprentice, that was it.
How many tattoos
it's not a good story.
How many tattoos do you have?
Myself, I don't know.
One big one that's not connected.
Exactly, one big one that's not connected.
What's your opinion of scratchers?
Scratchers?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm horrible. Like, I just care about what I'm doing.
Yeah. How do you deal with hate?
Yeah.
Like your guys.
I cry.
Yeah.
No. Just gotta fucking ignore it, I guess.
Yeah. Best and worst tattoo story.
Man, like I'm lame. Like I got no stories.
I always have to like stop and I'm like, all right.
This is probably my worst client right here.
Yeah, obviously. I mean.
Yeah, no.
Like making you do cool sticker tattoos.
Yeah, right.
Like stick good, not moving too much.
Yeah, I don't really got any.
Where did you start out?
Deer Lake, Newfoundland.
Was it an apprenticeship or?
It was kind of a half apprenticeship. It was very. I only really learned from traveling. Like. Again,
you
not
practice any other art forms?
I paint. I guess iPad, does that count now?
Yeah.
Yeah, digital.
Yeah, digital art. Yeah, that's mostly painting, yeah.
What's your strangest customer request?
Again, I'm a boring tattooer. I got nothing.
It's you that wants these strange requests. He wants to tattoo a dick in his jar. Really bad.
Yeah, my clients are tame.
Clients are tame. I don't want to do a Rick and Morty. You try to get me to do a dick in a jar.
Yeah, did I? Probably,
Yeah, you totally did. And I've heard that from a few people.
Yeah.
They're like, I wanted to get a tattoo from him, but he wanted to just do a dick in a jar.
Or a dick tattoo, yeah.
What might you say for someone looking to get a tattoo but don't know how to go into it? So, like, they want a tattoo, but they don't know what they should research.
That's a hard question.
It's impossible not to know good from bad now.
Yeah, use your eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at portfolios. Find something that looks good. Ask around. Yeah.
And if
You're
there's
probably not going to be able to use this. I'm cursing way too much.
If you want to plug anything, you can. I forgot to ask that with you.
A plug?
Yeah.
MD Wipeouts. They're rad as hell. Yeah.
How did you guys become tattoo artists?
It's been something that both been interested in for a long time. I know that I took stuff in school, and this was one of the kind of better ways to do art. I was always into body modifications and art in high school, mostly due through music and stuff like that. It brought me right in the industry, and I'm comfortable.
I always had an interest in art throughout school, and being a little kid, just drawing like dinosaurs and stuff. And honestly, leaving school, I had to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I had that talk with my mom, and you know what I mean? She kind of suggested, because I was interested in tattoos, something to pursue. So it wasn't my radar because I wanted them, but yeah, honestly, I didn't really know until my mom threw out the suggestion. And
it was tough to get into.
I did it. Yeah, it should be hard work. You know what I mean? So
it's a lot more work that goes into it than people think. Especially if you want to do it properly, do an apprenticeship, all of that stuff. Yeah, so lots of work.
How do you guys deal with hate?
Now I've just learned to take nothing personal and just ignore it. You know, I don't know. Early years, you kind of learn your lessons and stuff with social media. You know, you gotta tread lightly. So I don't know. I just try and
ignore it. Yeah. Social media hate's not too bad. It's the self-hate that's the worst. As an artist, you're always critiquing yourself harder than anybody else.
You're your artist critique.
It's easy to tell the keyboard warriors, I think they call them, out from everybody else.
Yeah.
It's the personal stuff that I find most difficult. True.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what drives you, though. You know. So,
it's true. Yeah. You'll kick your
What's
ass the hardest.
worst tattoo story?
I got a bad tattoo at a tattoo convention last year because, unlike how I tell everybody else, look through videos, look through portfolios, look through as much stuff as you can, track down the artist best.
Yeah.
I didn't do so. I looked at a piece of flash and my girl was getting tattooed and I thought it'd be cool to get one too, and it didn't turn out so good.
Okay. So it was like a spontaneous thing your girl was, so you wanted to get
hope that
tattooed.
everybody's going to be good at a show, but not always the case. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had really bad tattoo stories though.
Do you mean like bad tattoo on us?
Either on or your worst customer.
I got both. I've had some uncomfortable situations. Yeah, I remember tattooing this old guy one time, and towards like the end of the tattoo, he asked if he could have one of his friends come by, so I didn't care. And so I pulled up like a stool.
How many friends came by?
Only one. But like I pulled up a stool, and like our stools were like this high. He said it was just one of his friends and that she's sick and that he gets to take her out of the hospital for like 24 hours and hang out with her. I didn't get it. But anyway,
hospital.
I was tattooing and just like whatever. And I noticed he kept moving, and it was only like a small tattoo. But anyway, he kept moving. So I like looked around his, to see what he was doing. And he had his other hand up her skirt towards the end of the tattoo. And I was super uncomfortable, shy, quiet guy. So I just I powered through it and finished the tattoo and never really.
So that's your worst act.
That was probably one of the weirdest. Yeah, honestly, I was really uncomfortable.
Well, since we're going with really bad stories and inappropriate, I had to tattoo cunt on a cunt for a bet that was lost.
That's
as close as possible. Yeah.
That's
commitment.
That sounds like a drunk.
I high-fived her when she walked in. She walked in sober. She's like, "So I need a tattoo, and this is it." And so I said, "Good on you."
Future boyfriends won't like that.
Girlfriend, she dumped her right after it. She was like, "I can't look at that." So
yeah, that's something like.
So these are fun stories for you because I assume those will be tight.
I'm sure if you ask
any tattooers, got a story like that.
Outrageous things.
Oh yeah,
they're the worst.
What's your favorite style to do?
To do black and three. I'm kind of biased. Realism. I like taking things a little bit and twisting them a little. Putting my flavor to it. Maybe a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
If people will bend a little bit, but otherwise, I do a lot of like wildlife and things like that. If I'm not doing dark stuff.
Yeah. Portraits and realism. Lots of black and gray.
Portraits.
Yeah.
Do you practice other art forms?
Oh,
I used to, as much as I hate to say it, I used to draw a lot more. Now when I draw, it's more to the confines of digital art, you know what I mean, on the iPads and stuff, which it's out of convenience more than
a lot of
anything.
art that goes into designing tattoos, and outside of that, it's really difficult to find time for yourself, right?
Yeah, I
Especially with so many shows.
could go home and do that all night, every night, but then I'd feel like I never have time for myself. You know what I mean? And we both have families, you know what I mean, at home to go home to, so
that's where it gets.
I try and just choose how to break up my time, right? So.
Yeah. What's your opinion on scratches?
Cut.
Everybody's on their journey, right? So we started out the same way. Everybody starts out the same way. So
well, not that way.
No, not like. I think people
not in the garage.
When we started tattooing, I think that it made more sense. Like kind of like 5 to 10 kind of years ago. Yeah. At this point, I think that it should be common knowledge that if you're seeking something out, this is the wrong way to do it. But
I feel like
it's one of those upside downside cutting.
It's just unfair in Canada. Anybody can open a shop, so that means you can have scratchers in a shop. Whereas there's no licensing here. So.
The industry is really good at feeding and pushing people out that don't need to be here, though. Like we are a very tight knit group. Where it counts and where it doesn't, then you don't get love, right? And they have their little circles. We have our bigger circle, so you don't run into too much of it anymore.
I just feel like it's like
not as much as we used to.
So why are you at the Tattoo Expo 2019?
I was here last year as a vendor, and I was the only vendor at the time. I'm pretty sure I was the only vendor in all of New Brunswick. I was the only vendor at the time here that was accepting cryptocurrency. And while I had people that would come up to the booth and be interested in it, No one actually paid for cryptocurrency. No one asked anything really more about it. So later on, I went and talked to the fine folks at the Bitcoin Cash Association, and I was asking like, what can I do to help increase adoption in my area? And they wanted to set me up as an ambassador for them, so I would host monthly meetups and come to things like this to promote and give away free Bitcoin Cash.
How much would that entail?
So this is my first expo coming, because last year I was just accepting it. I didn't have any to give away. This year I originally started out saying I was only going to give away 2 Bitcoin Cash, and about a week ago I was like, let's throw an extra one on there. So at today's current market value at like $213, it's 640 some bucks out of pocket.
Yeah.
And in my mind, as long as like adoption actually improves and people can use it as a payment system, then it's more worth it than the $600 and some.
Yeah. When someone asks like questions about cryptocurrency, what would you say?
I think it depends on the question. I think the biggest issue that people run into is, so far if they've heard about it, it's they're like, oh, just throw some money into this. Like, you can make money off of it. And if enough people do that, then it becomes a self-fulfilling Ponzi scheme. Which is why I'm here promoting it as a peer-to-peer cash system. You want to send something less than $10, you can't do that through an e-transfer unless you're through the same bank. So we can do it with Bitcoin Cash for less, I think it's like 1/20th of a penny as the fee. And you can send it to anyone, anywhere in the world.
What's your opinion on the people who don't use Bitcoin but mine, so crypto mining?
It's a risky endeavor, but without the miners, there wouldn't be a network. It wouldn't be secure. So I think they're the foundation. I'm gonna give this fine gentleman $5 worth of Bitcoin Cash, and I'm gonna show you first off how fast, cheap, and easy it is. So keep in mind, with an e-transfer, it costs you $1, and you can't send below 10. So you just go on to receive there. So that QR code, if anyone watching wants to send some money, just scan that. You can do it easy peasy. I'm just gonna scan that, and then I'm gonna switch to Canadian. Make sure this is on camera here. So I'm gonna send the man $5. I suppose it's not too in focus, but so now we can see it's that amount of Bitcoin Cash. That's worth $5. This is the miner fee, which is not even a penny.
Yeah.
It's 0.01% of the total amount.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send. It's gonna ask me to confirm it with my fingerprint.
Yeah.
Creating, sending, signing, broadcasting, and then bam.
So how did you get into body modification?
When I was in university, I used to clean like people's houses, and then I got a job cleaning a tattoo studio, which sort of grew to me doing more and more jobs at the tattoo studio. And by the time I graduated from university, I just stayed in that industry. Yeah, there was no going back after National Blue Ink and Modern Primitives.
How do you deal with hate?
I mean, I feel like we don't get a lot of hate.
That's interesting.
I mean,
because like in the whole body modification world, with tattoos all the way to piercings and stuff, there's always some people that aren't the nicest.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking more like in the studio, because people are usually on really good behavior when they come to see us, even if they're jerks in the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But I think like the less you look like a regular person, the more the onus is kind of on you.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to go up and be above and beyond sometimes.
Okay.
There's a really good quote that I do not completely remember by Shannon Larrett about that.
What's your worst either shop story or like your worst modification story?
Well, our shop story has been an evolution because our shop has been around for about 13 years, and over that time it's grown to be from being a piercing and tattoo studio to be mostly piercing. We still do have one tattoo artist. Most of what we do is sell fancy body jewelry, and so we have a lot of people that seek us out just for the jewelry, which is fun. We have a lot of unique things.
Yeah. And lastly, what's your idea of scratchers?
In Nova Scotia, we're starting to have regulations, and regulations are their own ball of wax. There probably are ways that you can tattoo in your home that maybe are safe, but a lot of people are maybe not doing it safe.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
That comes kind of with the whole, like, I find the term scratcher, I mean, they don't the term itself doesn't seem like a.
I mean, some people
excellent.
really are, yeah.
But-
some people really are just scratching people up.
Yeah.
And there's one thing about being
Not gonna
self-taught.
mention
There's another thing
someone,
to start doing a sleeve the day after
Yeah.
you get your tattoo machine off eBay. So
Yeah. How did you become a tattoo artist?
Oh my gosh, took an interest in it just when I was a young punk. I think I was 15. I just seen it being done at a party one day and thought, shit, that is cool. So we went home and built a homemade machine and started tattooing my delinquent friends. Done that for about a year or two, and then realized I did want to pursue a career in it, and found a fellow that was selling all his tattoo gear. He closed his shop, so I sold my motorbike, I bought all that, I got a crash course from him, and away we went.
Seems like a good way to go and start.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How do you deal with hate? With the people who don't really like tattoos?
Yeah, I don't know, just ignore them.
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
The worst one probably back when I was younger and had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. That's kind of a long story, don't really want to get into it.
What's your strangest customer request?
Probably when one of the college girls comes in and wanted a lizard crawling out of her ass. So,
Yeah,
or I guess it was into her ass because it was just a tail coming out.
Yeah, that's not the craziest I've heard today.
No.
There's some that are
Oh, I can just
something
imagine.
else. What's your favorite style to do?
It varies. Changes from year to year, really. I mean, I like all styles.
The more you learn about a certain style, the more you like it.
One year it might be all portraits that I like doing, and then the next year it might be just color bomb stuff.
Okay. So, did you where did you start out other than at the party and then met someone and started a studio there or anything like that?
The first studio I opened was in 1995 in Antigonish.
Where did you study, if you did? Or did you start out as an apprentice?
No, I never done an apprenticeship per se. After I took that crash course from the fellow that sold all his gear to me, I just started knocking on doors, going to different conventions and just picking up anything I could from anybody.
Okay. How many tattoos do you have?
I've got about 70 or 80, give or take a dozen.
How long have you been tattooing?
Since 1988.
What's your opinion of scratches?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody started somewhere. Yeah, I don't know.
How and why did you become a tattoo artist?
I became a tattoo artist because I wanted to create stuff and music wasn't good for me. I sucked at it, so I figured I started getting tattoos at 15 and I might as well give it a shot, and it turned out good for me.
How do you deal with hate?
I mean, I spend all my energy on people giving good reviews and stuff like that, you know? Don't have much time for it.
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
Probably that one guy that was high on I don't know what and wanted his first name, you know, like Tupac across the belly like this. Yeah, I was an apprentice. I ended up doing it. Not proud of it. My best tattoo story would probably be how I met my girlfriend in a convention. It's probably the best so far.
What's your strangest customer request?
The guy, man, who wanted his first name on his stomach.
Yeah,
I still don't get
pretty,
it. Yeah, that's hard to beat.
What's your favorite style to do?
Well, pretty much cartoony stuff, black and gray realism, doing animals and stuff like that. Pretty much everything that's on this table here.
Where did you start out?
I started out in this small town named Sainte-Thérèse in Quebec, Canada.
We're here at Artful Dodger Beard Oil. I'm the owner, Rob. So I make all kinds of beard products. I also make tattoo aftercare as well. So these are all natural products. Beard oil, beard soap. I have beard balm as well. My tattoo aftercare is all natural as well. I use hemp oil. I infuse my hemp oil with calendula flower and chamomile. Throw some vitamin E in there and your healing properties are just amazing on this product. I try to keep everything as natural as I can. That way there's no issues with any of my products. I don't use any fillers. I don't use any preservatives. Everything's all natural. So the lifespan on my product is awesome. The oils, the oils. If they separate, you just shake them up. They'll mix, and you'll be good to go again. The beard bombs, you never have to worry about anything. They'll stay fresh for a very long time. Our bars of soap run 4 ounces. These are charcoal activated bar soaps. These will last anywhere from 4 to 5 months. I use mine on a daily basis. I leave it right in the shower. It's an amazing product. All of my products come in the same scent, so you can get your beard oil, beard soap, and beard balm all in the same scent. Yeah, that's about it for my products.
When did you start the company?
The company was started probably just over 3.5 years ago. It was started with good friends of mine. I worked with them for the entire 3 years that they were open. My brother and myself helped them refine their products, and just last year I bought them out. So I bought out the company. They had a change in life, and I was able to continue the company on and continue making the products the way they were.
From when you were on the company but not the owner of it, was there anything different?
There was a few different things. The only difference in the product was that he only had 1 scent of soap, 1 scent of balm, and then I expanded it. I refined the tattoo balm as well. I added a few other ingredients to the tattoo balm. I supplemented coconut oil for avocado oil. And yeah, we're continually working on our products, trying to make our products better and trying to make them so that people with allergies, they're good for that, and making sure the products are as natural as we can get it.
And lastly, how do you deal with hate being tattooed and stuff? Because a lot of people,
Yeah, how do you deal with the pain?
Yeah.
I'm one of the weird guys that actually likes the pain.
Yeah.
The pain of getting tattooed. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
You go through pain for an hour or so for something that, is there, and you're gonna
That's right, yeah.
love it forever.
That's right, yeah. You go through the pain for a little bit, but that piece of artwork is on you forever. And that's my thing. I like to get artwork from different artists, not always the same artist, and more of like a collector, right?
And how many tattoos do you have, if you know?
Myself, I have just over 12, I think.
Okay. And as I know, you just got the one on your head skull.
Yeah, a nice fresh head tattoo.
How and why did you become a tattoo artist?
Let's see. I always loved tattoos and I always loved art. Been drawing ever since I was very small. I got my first internship when I was 15. It was horrible. It was really bad. I ended up leaving in the middle of the night, actually.
Always good.
Yeah. And then I got another one, and it was a lot better situation, but I didn't learn very much. I ended up leaving and basically teaching myself. I guess I became a tattoo artist because it's my biggest passion. It's like the reason I get out of bed anymore.
How do you deal with the people who give hate?
At this point in my life, it's really just not even on my radar anymore. I don't think, I just act like they don't exist,
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
I feel like, I haven't had anything too horrible. For me personally, as a tattooer, I don't think I've really had any terrible experiences with clients yet. But for me personally, I just me, and I guess it's not the worst, and it happens to a lot of people, is just having artists put extra things into my tattoos or stuff like that was unconsensual. That's now on my body forever.
What's your strangest customer story, if you have one?
Jeez, I feel like I'm really boring. I don't really think I have one. I feel like most days are pretty chill and good.
What's your favorite style to do?
I do Americana traditional with my own spin of color play on it.
Where did you start out?
So I'm actually
you don't have to say.
I'm from New York. I'm from the States. I started out in a shop in New York. Yeah.
Do you practice other art forms?
I do. I paint. I do metalwork. Actually, like most things I could get my hands on art-wise, I will do.
If a client came in looking for a tattoo and you did not agree with it, would you try and help them to change their mind or alter it a bit to their liking?
I think it really depends on the subject matter. If it's something I completely disagree with, I won't go anywhere near it. If it's something that I'm like slightly a little weary about, then I can talk them maybe down or yeah.
What's your opinion on scratchers?
It's mixed. I feel like a lot of people have to start somewhere, right? It's really hard to get into the industry. But I feel like if you're doing it in a very unsanitary way, not good. Let's keep it sanitary.
How many tattoos do you have?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. So many.
What would you say if someone's looking to get a tattoo but don't know how to go about it?
Like me personally, do not know how to go about it? I would probably send them to a different artist.
Did you study for it or take a apprenticeship?
I had two, yeah, and I ended up leaving them both and teaching myself.
How and why did you become a tattoo artist?
Well, why? Why? Because it was just another form of artwork. For me, by the time I started tattooing, I had already done just about everything else.
Okay.
I had painted, sculpted, sketched, woodworking, welding, construction. If it was an art form, I had done it. And my father's a tattoo artist, so he kind of thrust me into it. He had me starting when I was just a little kid, actually. I did my first tattoo on him at 8 years old, and did my first professional tattoo on one of his clients at the age of 10. So that puts me at 21 years now and counting since doing my first tattoo. So
how do you deal with hate?
How do I deal with hate?
Do you just say, well, fuck you, it's my body, or like...
It's one of those where it kind of comes down to that, but not really as ignorant, I guess, as, just fuck you, I'll do what I want. As much as, I try to explain to people, the differences, because a lot of people have hatred towards tattoos in the tattoo industry. Because of the stigmas that come with it. Back in the day, it was always one of those things where, you had to be a criminal or, something like that to get a tattoo, but a lot of people don't realize that it started out as a very traditional thing. Tattoos started in, ancient times in Asia and Egypt and even South America.
It started out as a mark for strength.
Well, that's it. It was one of those that it was basically a social marking and not not something that you just did for the fun of it. But now that's what it's turned into. I feel that everybody should have the right to get what they want, and that's what I tell my clients. Don't let anybody tell you any different. If that's what you want, get it. It's your body. You have to live with it. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's a family member or a friend. If they don't like it, tell them to go fuck themselves if you have to.
What's your worst and best tattoo story? This can be inappropriate, appropriate, anything. Just because there's some that
some that are a little off. Well, probably the best tattoo story I have is one of my clients actually gave me the ability to kind of do whatever the fuck I wanted. And he came in and he was just like, listen man, he was like, I want it to be sick, I want it to be twisted, I want it to be dark. He was like, you know me, he was like, just make it fucked. And that was probably one of my best experiences because it was the first time a client had ever given me that much trust to kind of just do my own thing. And still, when people do that, I still run it past them because I don't like giving people just something random. I like to make sure that they're going to want to wear it, because if not, like I do a lot of cover-ups, and that's how cover-ups start, is by people getting something they don't want, whether it's something they're going to regret because, a lot of people get spouses' names and stuff. One of the biggest regrets most people have. So, I don't want people regretting the tattoos they get like that. Even if it's a nice tattoo, they might regret it. Worst tattoo experience I've ever had is probably one of my clients that decided to go around and badmouth me after she decided to not open her mouth while getting her tattoo. And decided to go tell her friends that I was the one that fucked up her tattoo because I put in colors that she didn't want, even though her friends were there. Well, luckily, some of her friends were also clients of mine, so they actually backed me up on the fact that, she did get exactly what she asked for. But that was probably one of the worst experiences because I always felt like, and I always tell people, if you've got a problem with placement, with the colors of the tattoo, mention it. We can alter it on the go. Like, you know, we
my
can do
artist
that.
told me that like when I got mine, and it was a small one. Right
Yeah, well,
there.
that's it. And that's what I tell everybody. Like, I ask them, you know, once I've placed even the stencil, you know, is that good for you? And I actually almost had the same experience recently where one client, she kind of hemmed and hawed. She was like, well, I guess it's all right. And I'm like, no, it's either all right or it's where you want it. She was like, well, I kind of prefer it over here. And it's like, well I'm like, I almost wanted to smack you there because you almost got a tattoo that you're going to regret. And I almost did that to you because you didn't open your mouth. So, you know, that's probably one of my worst experiences. Then I've had stuff with, you know, just ignorant clients and stuff like that. But I don't really consider that a bad experience because that's just people. Some people are assholes.
What's your strangest customer request?
Strangest customer request?
This can be messed up. Can be anything.
I've got a couple all along the same lines. Probably one of the strangest though is I had a client ask me to do a tattoo of Foghorn Leghorn from Looney Tunes. The strange part about it was he wanted him hanging from a noose on the side of his calf with the rope actually coming up about halfway up his thigh, just because he wanted to be able to tell everybody that his cock always hangs below his knee. So between that and I have a girl that actually has 3 pieces of candy on her ass, that little heart candies, like the Valentine's Day candies. First one says eat me, and then spank me, and then fuck me. So well that's it. So you get strange ones like that, but it's the same thing. It's what she wants, right? You know, so that's what I try to do is make sure no matter how strange.
It's not like on her arm.
No, on her ass cheek. On her ass cheek. So the only person that sees it is her boyfriend, or well, anybody she shows it to. But you know, that's the only one that sees it on a regular basis, at least.
What's your favorite style to do?
Anything gory, honestly. You know, stuff that's just out of this world, freaky, gory, you know, horror movie characters, you know, stuff like that is probably because I've always been into that art-wise. You know, I've always had a very, you know, dark sense to my art, whether it be paintings or anything else. So I've just kind of merged with that, but...
So you'd say you're good with, like, dark, seeing light or something like that? Like a mix?
I honestly, I actually do everything. I do color, I do black and gray, I do realism, I do micro works. So it's,
what would you say your specialty would be?
Tattooing.
But
no, but really, that's I don't really have a specialty. It's just that's my specialty is tattooing. You know, I don't let anybody go. Okay, well, you know, can you do this? It's I can. You know, you bring it to me, and I'm going to pull it off.
What's your take on scratches?
Everybody's got to start somewhere. But for me, there's a big definition between a home artist and a scratcher. For me, a scratcher is somebody that's not doing it right, not taking the time to sanitize, not taking the time to get the proper equipment, you know, all that stuff. Whereas a home artist is just somebody that can't afford to work in a shop or hasn't been given the opportunity to work in a shop. You know, 90% of the artists out there, even closer to probably 95, were what most people would consider scratchers as well. Not many people have the opportunity to be an apprentice under somebody and work in a studio. So you got to start somewhere, but it's all about doing it right, in my opinion. You know, and if you're doing it right, like keeping it clean, then in my opinion, you're not a scratcher. You're just a home-based artist that doesn't have the opportunities to do what everybody else is doing.
Do you practice any other art forms?
I practice every art form that I can get my hands on, honestly. I loved art ever since I was a little kid. Started drawing at the age of 2.5. I used to draw, actually, cartoon characters used to be my favorite thing, and I'd actually draw them as they were running across the screen. I'd be sitting there and drawing them in stop motion positions, everything, you know, Mickey and Winnie the Pooh and all these characters I used to have. Well, I had a stack of binders taller than me at one point. So yeah, I try to keep up with drawing. Lately it's been a lot of painting fabrics and stuff, custom painting like hats, shoes, stuff like that. So, you know, that's probably my go-to at this point.
How many tattoos do you have, if you know?
I think I have 17 myself personally.
Why and how did you become a tattoo artist?
Why and how? Originally started out actually because I was in college, needed to help pay some bills, started tattooing a little bit here and there. And then a friend of mine, actually Luke Cormier, he's here today tattooing as well. He mentored me, asked me if I wanted to be an apprentice. I said yeah, and I took it on. I haven't stopped since.
How do you deal with hate?
How do I deal with hate? Hate?
Yeah.
Don't have any, man. It's all love here.
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
My worst and best tattoo story?
Yeah.
I didn't really have any worst tattoo stories, man, and I love all the tattoos I do, and like all the clients I meet, I get to meet a lot of great people. I don't really have any bad ones.
What's your strangest customer request?
I've had a guy ask me to tattoo his junk one time. It's probably the strangest experience I've ever had. It's 10 grand or bust, right? And I was like, nah, okay.
What's your favorite style today?
Neo-traditional.
Where did you start out?
In Newfoundland, actually in Cornerbrook.
Did you start out as an apprentice?
Yes, an apprentice at Screaming Gypsy.
Do you practice any other sort of art?
I'm a hip-hop artist as well, actually.
What's your opinion on scratches?
Everybody's gonna start somewhere, man, but you're better off to do it in the shops, learning the right way so you don't fuck up anyone's, body.
What's the worst tattoo you've done? Not you've done, you've seen?
I don't really know, so I don't really focus on anyone else's work a whole lot unless it's something that's really cool, catches my eye.
How many tattoos do you have?
Do I have?
Yeah.
Around 70.
How long have you been tattooing?
3 years professionally.
How and where did you become an artist?
I became an artist in my hometown of Orleans. That's where I grew up. And it was just a hobby that I did from school. From being bored in school. I just drew in my books, and it became something that I got good at. Then from there, it spiraled on to paintings and stuff. And
tattooing?
I didn't even think about tattooing. I actually wanted to be in animation and make movies. So I became a 3D animator.
Yeah.
But at some point in my life, at 24, I got a tattoo. And then right after the tattoo, literally a month later, I already started my apprenticeship. And 5 years from now, I'm here. So it kind of just like, it's
spiral.
Yeah, it was really instantaneous. It wasn't. I didn't choose to tattoo technically. It kind of like I just got one and I just realized I wanted to do it. Yeah. So that's how I became an artist.
Well, I've been like an artist like my whole life, pretty much. I've been like drawing ever since I was little. I used to draw like Hogwarts Castle and like band members and stuff like that, like Korn and like Evanescence. I used to draw like a bunch of stuff like that from their album covers. And then I knew I wanted to like do something with that though, because like I hated school. I hated high school. I didn't see myself going into university, and I just wanted to do something that had to do with art for sure.
How do you deal with hate?
At the end of the day, I deal with it the same way I deal with anything that's negative and consequential to my life. I just ignore it.
Like when people are being aggressive, it kind of sucks. But I don't know, you just
learn to live with it, or?
Yeah, well, no, not really. Like people that hate on your tattoos, like if you're heavily tattooed, you just try to be as kind to them as possible. Like you just try to show them that you're not like an aggressive, like shitty, like teenager that's rebelling against everyone. So
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
It's hard for me to think of one right on the spot.
Yeah, it is hard to think of one, but like you do get reminded of people that just like move during their tattoo, like people that like reach for their phone, or people that just like look over their shoulder, or like adjust way too much. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, for sure. That's like a pretty bad one. The good ones are people that are like super nice, like down for your design, like super happy, like can sit still, can sit like quiet, and pretty much.
What's your strangest customer request?
I had this girl ask me to tattoo a penis above her vagina.
Whoa, that's
that was probably my strangest one, I think.
Someone wanted "I can smell your cunt" written, and it's from a movie, and I just like, I don't know, that as a tattoo, like, I think you can get something else from the movie, but just not that quality. It's too weird.
What's your favorite style to do?
I guess just a lot of bold colors. I like freehanding, watercolors, and sketchbook styles type of stuff.
Like vibrant.
I like black and gray. Like I like to do animal portraits, kind of like realistic black and gray. I think that's the most satisfying because I've been kind of drawing with a pencil my whole life, so it's the closest thing to that. But I also look traditional. It's like I find it very satisfying, and I think it looks classic. And so those are my two favorite styles.
Where did you start out?
I started out with a paid shitty apprenticeship that lasted only like 3 weeks.
That's still better than one of them. It was only like half a day. They ended up leaving in the middle of the night.
What?
Wow.
So weird.
So it was like maybe 3 weeks, and then after that, just self-taught myself everything else.
I was a teenager. I was 17, and I started like tattooing my cousins in my grandma's basement. and I was still in high school. I started tattooing. I started tattooing more and more, getting practice from working on my friends. And then I was able to get like my own like studio that was like approved by like Ottawa Public Health. So I've did that for like 3-ish years until Derek asked me to come work with him. So I've been working with him ever since, pretty much.
You practice any other art forms?
I used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but being crunched and doing tattoos all day and then doing Jiu-Jitsu and being crunched again, it was just really killing my back. So I would love to do something else, but I would have to find something that kind of like counters my posture that I do during work. Yeah, it would be a physical art like that, I guess.
I love like drawing. I love pencil drawing, colored pencils. Yeah, I've been just pretty much doing that my whole life. A little bit of music. I play a little bit of piano and want to learn guitar soon because I just got one.
What's your opinion on scratches?
You know what? I don't necessarily condone them because I find a lot of good people have started out scratching too. Honestly, it's really up to the individual. I don't even think stereotyping or naming somebody a scratcher is like, you don't really know their potential based on how they start out. But
you learn more as you go.
I mean, if you want to know what I think about them in terms of their work and professionally, I don't think they should do some bigger pieces, start with some small stuff.
Do you think that there should be more regulations?
I wouldn't know, because at the same time I find art should be a form of expression. And regardless of governing rules, and I don't think there should be any regulations, because then you might say, oh, it's illegal to tattoo a Buddha, or it's illegal to tattoo, I don't know, a fat chick on you. I don't know. You don't want to get to that point. So I'd prefer not. Like, fuck rules.
I think scratchers are like kind of like misguided people in a way. Like they're usually young people that don't know anything about
getting into.
So they don't know anything about the industry, which is the best route to take. I feel like if you're young and you want a tattoo, you should like get tattooed. That way you're in a shop, you're talking to artists, and you kind of learn how it works. So you kind of know how that tattooing like in your house is not the right thing to do. That's pretty much how I started. If I could do things differently, then I would. But yeah, I definitely think that you should go through a traditional apprenticeship first.
How many tattoos do you have?
I think the last time I counted was like 27, but I'm not sure if I got some more. Since then, I probably did. But yeah, around there.
I don't count them. I think the last time I counted them was last year. It was like 24 or something, but then I got some and I just stopped counting.
Yeah, so we work at Scorpion Instinct Studio based off in Orleans, Ottawa, and we'd love to have you there if ever you choose to come in and fly through.
How did you three get into like the circus act and stuff?
Well, like, I got started doing fire spinning about 8 years ago, just by being in the right place at the right time and wanting to continue my practice of pretending I was a Ninja Turtle from a small child.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
And I had found myself hitchhiking on the other coast in BC, and I was traveling with my buddy Sunshine, and we were getting to a circus gig there, and he was telling me how he started doing glass walking, and he told me like the ancient secrets and the science. And
I'll tell them, don't worry, in post. No.
Okay. And a couple years after that, I was in Fredericton, and a friend of mine was looking for some sideshow stuff, and I was all like, I can do this. And I knew that she could shove a nail into her face.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's pretty something.
Thank you.
I guess I'm slightly new to the group. My parents always figured I'd, run away, join the circus when I was younger. Thank God, like my mom was thrilled that I did it now in life, right? But Jason and Cass have been pretty good, like friends around the scene kind of thing. And just one day I asked. Sometimes all you have to do is ask, and then you shall become in the circus.
Wonderful how it works like that.
Yeah.
How do you come up with new acts?
Lots and lots of research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find a weird thing that we do and
go from there.
Research.
Yeah.
sometimes I see someone do a cool thing and I try to do that cool thing, and then I screw up doing the cool thing, but I come up with a different cool thing.
So like walking on glass and doing a handstand on glass.
That's improving skill.
Yeah.
That's a Jason Bizarre only adventure as far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen.
Yeah.
What are the safety precautions?
Honestly, research, lots and lots of practice, contacting other people who do the same thing and asking them about their experiences and what's kept them safe. And for things like the human blockhead, I actually went to a doctor to see how much space I had inside of my face so I could make sure I wouldn't actually hurt myself doing it. Yeah, so
I just get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone wants
like
to see
right
that.
now, I'm trying to learn how to stick my hand through an old-fashioned metal fan to stop it. And I mean, like, how do you practice that?
Yeah.
Putting your hand through a metal fan.
Well,
So, and then it's kind of just like sick pain tolerance after that.
Right?
So
I know I was going into labor and was like, this ain't
it's fine.
Yeah,
I
that's
stick a
great.
nail
I've
through
eaten
my
light
nose.
bulbs plenty of times. I think I would rather eat a light bulb than give birth. No, I wouldn't. I'd rather give birth.
I mean,
is that true?
I
or-
went off on a tangent.
You
Never
did.
mind me.
I felt like there was a poetic story there.
I don't think so.
What has been the hardest act you've done?
I think one of my favorite acts is we did a show at the Capitol here in Canberra, and it was the like metal Christmas cover show. So we had all the metal and punk bands playing like Dio and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did a human Christmas tree where I came in with a Santa costume on that I stripped down to just the pants.
Yeah.
And then she wrapped me up and stapled a string of Christmas lights to me while I had a star all up in my hair. And then people took turns running up and just pounding $5 bills into me with staples.
It was beautiful.
Well, that must be fun.
It was the most money I've ever had stapled to me. I was so woozy.
How much was stapled?
I think it was like 120.
Yeah, like 120 plus.
Yeah.
and it's usually $5 and $10 bills too.
Yeah, that was a lot of staples.
It was a lot of $5 bills.
Yeah.
Must have felt good after.
Well,
Once I stopped being all
about it. Yeah.
If there's anything you guys want to like talk about, you can.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
get the soapbox.
Yeah, I would like to talk about where our donations go to and how we all ended up here, really, is that, you know, we come from families that look normal on the outside and really on the inside we're very normal, definitely due to mental health and addiction issues. So when we realized that doing this show would give us an opportunity to donate money where we've never had that opportunity before, we took it. And it's the best thing that we can donate to. Or unfortunately, people have mental health issues, they're not recognized.
And it's something a lot of people go through.
So many people.
That's actually why I'm not performing. I look like I'm okay, but I'm actually not feeling great in the last little bit, and I'm trying to adjust to things that I've never had before.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't want to perform today. I've just been shaky, not feeling great, but on the outside, everybody
On
would
the
see it
outside,
as
they look
okay.
fine, but
But on
here-
the inside, you're feeling you're screaming, and even still with the circus as a hobby, it's still hard to get yourself out there every day and stuff. So for us to be able to do this, it literally takes everything in us to do that, to have those social anxieties, but then all of a sudden to get up in front of hundreds of people sometimes and not even feel that. That is our medicine. This is like our release to
It's a good therapy for
right?
us.
So, and we, in that, would like other people to feel weird with us as more weird we are, right? More other people out there are like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Anything to break that stigma. Which is a terrible stigma.
And that's why too, we look, interesting enough on the streets. People give us that look or whatever, especially.
That's with
all
anyone
dressed up.
nowadays.
Right? Exactly.
Even with a lot
and
of
that's the
piercings and
thing.
tattoos.
Yeah,
like-
we're an alternative beauty that is becoming quite popular now. So.
And if you want to like plug anything, Insta, Facebook, Snap, anything.
Yeah, we would love to do that. So you can find us on Facebook. We are the Strange and Bizarre East Coast Sideshow on Facebook, but we've made it hard for you because we spell bizarre Bizzar. Everything else is conventional spelling though. We have an Instagram. It's just Strange and Bizarre. Again, Bizzar, and we would love to have more followers and likes.
Follow us, like us on Facebook.
I'll hail the media gods.
Why and how did you become a tattoo artist?
I don't know, I picked up a tattoo magazine when I was like 13 years old, and I fell in love with the artwork in it. The bold lines, bright colors, and shading, and just, nobody at my family even had tattoos. It's the first time I'd ever even seen them before.
You just saw it once.
Yeah, saw it, wanted to do it. Love the artwork behind it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it sparked me from 13, and then that was my life mission after that.
How do you deal with hate?
How do I deal with haters?
Yeah.
Soak it up. Soak it up. If you got 10 haters, then you need 10 more. That's what Cat Williams would always fucking say. So, I'm gonna go by that.
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
Worst ones are probably just the no-shows. The ones you fucking put time into and effort into, and they just don't even bother to show up or call. The best ones, probably yesterday, because that was dope. Like, just tattooing my shop manager, just getting to do whatever I want to at this festival. It was fun. It was a real good time.
She marked her territory. Violet and Fern.
What's your strangest customer request?
My strangest customer request. I did have one guy come into a shop when I was working in Manitoba that wanted a set of lips tattooed around his butthole.
Well,
I told him that was my expertise and he should try Winnipeg.
Well, that's
Yeah. There are weird people out there, man.
Yeah. Doesn't take the cake though.
No, it doesn't take the cake. I'm sure there's somebody who was up for it.
Yesterday that were something. What's your favorite style to tattoo?
I wouldn't nail it down to necessarily a style so much as I love to do cover-ups. Like, I love reworking shitty old tattoos into something that my clients are super happy and proud to show off.
Where did you start out? Or did you like...
I started out in a little town called Sussex, New Brunswick. And a shop, it was called Oceans of Ink back then.
Did you have an apprenticeship or?
Yeah, I worked through an apprenticeship with Jessie Lynn Jenkins.
Do you practice any other art forms?
Oh yeah. I spend most of my summers painting at music festivals all over the Maritimes, like doing live art.
What might you say to someone looking to get a tattoo but doesn't know how to go about it?
Stop into a shop. If you want to know about tattoos and you want one, the best place to start is to go to a tattoo shop and check it out. See what they're all about, see what the artists' capabilities are, what their styles are, and it makes it a lot easier to make a decision from there.
What's your opinion on scratchers?
On scratchers?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna start somewhere, right? So, like, I can't necessarily badmouth the scratcher because he's trying his best to get into the world. Yeah. So you just can't stop people. If they love it enough, they're gonna do it.
How many tattoos do you have?
Just one. It's a work in progress. It's a bodysuit.
How and why did you become a tattoo artist?
Honestly, it just kind of found me, I'd say. I just really love to draw, and drawing my passion for drawing, you know, took it to a place where I could really like make it a reality of something that's everyday. And how, I guess, well, Joey took me on as his apprentice. Because I was getting tattooed at White Lotus, and we just clicked, and he opened his own shop, and he said, like, man, if you want to come, like, learn how to tattoo.
How do you deal with hate?
Fuck it, just forget about it.
Yeah.
It's always gonna happen.
What's your worst and best tattoo story?
My worst tattoo story. I had a girl get up and leave mid-session because she didn't like the colors I was using. She had a little freak out and got up and made a it and just started crying. And she was on something for sure though, because she later actually died of an overdose. So there was definitely a drug problem, and that kind of influenced the emotional outbreak, I would say.
Yeah. What's your strangest customer request?
Strangest customer request?
Yeah.
I did Pepe Le Pew wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey, taking a big diarrhea on Toronto Maple Leafs logo.
Well, that's always good.
It's supposed to be like a skunk fart, you know. It came out like all green and stuff.
What's your favorite style to do?
Favorite style of tattoos? Definitely like color realism.
Do you practice any other art forms?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I consider that a physical art. And as far as visual art, I definitely like to paint. You know, painting, acrylic, digital painting, watercolor painting, anything like that.
What might you say when someone's looking to get a tattoo but doesn't really know what they should look for?
What they should get?
Look for in either a studio artist or...
Well, they should just be looking for artists who have portfolios whose art that they are interested in. I think it's really it's just that simple. Like, you don't go to someone whose work that you're not interested in getting.
How many tattoos do you have?
I have no idea, man. A lot.
That's a good
I got like 40 hours on me at least. 50 maybe.
What's your opinion on scratchers?
I don't really care. I don't really think about them that much. Like, they're just making work for people who are doing like laser removal. So they're always going to be there, really. Obviously, I would never recommend going to see someone who's just scratching.
How did you become an artist?
Actually, I knew that I was going to be a tattoo artist like when I was maybe 5 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah, my stepdad had like this ugly as fuck dragon tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was made in prison or something.
Yeah.
Didn't go to prison, but whatever. For me, when I was a kid, having a tattoo would mean that it was a symbol of strength.
Okay.
And I've always been drawing like since I've been able to hold pencil with my hands. Yeah, I know. I knew it from that time.
So you've been in like the art field, you would say,
since forever.
Yeah. How do you deal with hate?
Hate?
Yeah, the people that go up to you or something and say, "How can you have a tattoo? They're gonna look like this when you're older." Like,
oh, I don't know. They're not worth my time. So I don't give a fuck about those people. Intolerant people. I don't give a shit about them.
What's your worst tattoo story? Either a horrible customer or like a tattoo you look back now and wish you never got.
Oh my god. Oh, that was, oh my god. When I started tattooing, it was like, we were in like it was back in the days, you know, like maybe 15 years ago. Yeah. And I was in a shop and there was that lady that came in and she wanted like an old sign, a wooden sign just over her butt crack saying, keep out property of Roger. And that was like, it was, and she would like scream she was, that was probably my worst experience, and it was the worst idea. I mean, in the days, I would just tattoo whatever came my way because my boss would tell me, shut up and tattoo, you know? So today I would never do that. Like, I'd be like, this is a terrible idea, don't do this, you know? But,
throughout your years, you learn and get to understand more about the art, and you get to think, would this person really want it on there for however long?
Okay, so basically you're asking me in an ethical standpoint, when somebody comes to me for a piece, am I interfering with if I think it's not going to be a good idea in the long run?
Well, if you don't think the idea is good, will you still do it? Or would you tell them either alter?
No, that would go, I would never tattoo something that goes against my ethics. Yeah. So if I think something is not a good idea or it's unethical, I'm not going to do it.
How did you start out? So were you...
I was at a party.
Did you study or did you do an apprenticeship? And then
okay.
From there?
I was at a party when I was 17 years old, and this guy came to our party, and he was a tattoo artist for 15 years. And
I spoke to him and I showed him like my books, my artwork, and he fucking flipped and he was like, "Do you want a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a long time dream. I'm in Montreal for that."
So that's how
it started. Yeah.
Do you practice any other art forms?
I sculpt, like out of clay. Yeah, I really like sculpting. I love to like build.
You're very hands-on.
Yeah. It helps you understand anatomy. Like I like to draw, not draw, but sculpt anatomical stuff. And it just helps you like understand human body and stuff.
And what's your opinion on scratchers?
I would say that there are so many shops opening right now. They're popping up like mushroom everywhere. Like it's easy to get an apprenticeship if you have good art. And knowledge is available, and if somebody approaches me to ask me a question, I'm gonna approach them in an educational standpoint. I mean, we all started somewhere, and it's not my place to shut somebody down.
Hate on it?
I don't hate on anybody.
Start someplace.
Everybody starts somewhere.
However, do you believe that we need a bit more regulations?
Yeah, absolutely. Regulations and more educations as well. Not only for scratchers, but for customers as well. Because you can get seriously ill from getting a bad tattoo. Because hygiene is fucking important, right? So
no one did, not to mention the studio or the person, but a customer got badly ill last year after the expo, which is sad, but the particular artist shouldn't have been tattooing. He wasn't an apprentice. He was, I don't know how that stuff works, but it was like almost an apprentice. Like he was pretty well just there learning. He wasn't hands-on yet, and he was tattooed.
Well, okay, that's on the expo to do their research properly then. Because if you invite artists with a high caliber and you invite scratchers as well, it's not gonna look good for your convention, right? So.
And lastly, how many tattoos do you have?
I don't know.
That's pretty good. So where are we right now?
We are here at the third annual Fredericton Tattoo Expo, and it's at the Capitol Exhibit Center in Fredericton.
And this is the third annual, but what happened to the other ones before?
Well,
where did you get the idea?
Good old COVID rolled into town and sort of ruined it for us. But we had to cancel for 2 years, but we're back at her again in 2022, and we'll be back at her again in 2023, God willing.
Better be.
Yeah, exactly.
I originally asked you in a sort of teaser for this, originally why you wanted to put on the expo. When I very first asked you said that you just wanted to know why we didn't have one in Moncton and Halifax. So now, in a few years having one, what should we expect from the next ones, and what have you learned from doing?
I can barely hear you, but I think you want to know what to expect in 2023. Is that it?
Yep.
What we're planning for 2023 is a bigger and better show. It was hastily put together this year because we were waiting for the COVID restrictions to be lifted, and the restrictions were lifted in mid-March, so we really only had about a month and a half to put this together, and we did it. And big thank you, of course, to all the volunteers that helped us out. But next year we hope to have the Coliseum, which is right next door, and hopefully have a live show, like an after party type show for not just the artists and vendors but the public as well, to come out and party with the artists and listen to some live bands and stuff like that. What's that?
It's always a lot more fun like that.
Yeah. There's a big void. The after party and stuff like that is a big void in it. But next year we'll have more time to plan, and we hope to have it here at the Capitol Exhibit Center again next year if they allow us to come back in and use the Coliseum next door, and a little bit bigger. We'll have more entertainment next year. It'll be a lot more fun. It was fun this year. Don't get me wrong. It was a great time this year, but it'll be a little bit more organized and a little bit better organized next year.
And since you started the first expo, you've also started your own tattoo shop. So what's the name of the tattoo shop?
Well, we just recently closed our tattoo shop at our old location, and we're moving down the street. Our old location was 315 Main Street, and we're moving down the street to 215 Main Street, which is right across the street from Peter's Meat Market. And we hope to be open and up and tattooing and piercing by May the 17th, May the 18th, something like that. So keep an eye open on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that for when we're going to have our opening at the new location.
Is there anything you would want to change with the 2020?
I may change the stage around a little bit. I may put the stage in a different location next year just because the stage is off to the end. And it's a little bit away from everybody, so if I'm trying to think of a way to situate the stage in the middle of the middle floor, so other tattoo artists and other vendors can actually see the stage and stuff like that. So that's one thing, and we have a little checklist and a little notepad that we're writing things down and different things that we can change and upgrade and change and make better for next year.
If that does were to happen, but stage in the middle, it would add a whole lot more entertainment other than just watching people get tattooed.
Yeah. Like we would have had probably a pin-up girl contest. We had one a couple years ago, and that was a pretty good success. And we'll just have some different entertainment, and make it more interesting for the people that are coming out and getting tattooed, and people that come out to see us and enjoy the expo. So we'll work on that for the next year.
Is there anything that you would want to say for the next year's tattoo expo?
The next one? I just want to say that I just want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting this year. You know, it's a lot of work, and it's expensive to put one of these on, and for you to come out and spend your hard-earned money at the door to come in and take a walk around is much appreciated. And I just want to thank the artists for coming. Like we have artists here from Calgary and Toronto and Montreal and Cape Breton and Newfoundland and all over. And you know, for them to pack up and come here for the weekend, it's a big expense for them. You know, time out of their schedule to come here. And I just want to thank those guys and gals for coming all the way to Fredericton and having some fun here this weekend.
And is there anything that you would want to say for this video for next week?
Just come on out and see us in 2023.
How do you deal with hate?
I don't really get any, man.
Okay.
I just chill.
Pretty good though.
Oh yeah, man.
Do you practice any other art styles?
No, I just tattoo. Digital art also, but no, that's it.
Are there any times that you wanted to quit tattooing?
Not yet. I've only been tattooing like 3 years. I just finished up my apprenticeship, and no, man. I never wanted to quit.
So, what studio are you with on tour?
I tattoo at Silver City Tattoos in Elmsdale with Kurt Silver and Merle Rose.
Do you find some months your tattoos are better than others?
Do I think some of my tattoos are better than others?
Yeah, like, do you go through times of getting burnt out?
No, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still young.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm still young. Drink lots of water, man. Keeps the energy up.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
That I've done?
Yes.
I did a tattoo on my best friend Broccoli, and it's Bruce Lee as a broccoli, so it's a broccoli, and it's probably like the one that sticks to it's broccoli, right? Like, yeah.
How long have you been?
3 years altogether, like including my apprenticeship.
How do you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So, like, if you want to get a new tattoo and you don't exactly know what to do, or what to do.
Oh gosh, I would, if someone wants a tattoo but they don't know what they want, just like look up on Instagram like awesome tattoo hashtag or something, look through and get some ideas.
What's the best aftercare in your opinion? So you're saying everyone's skin's different?
I would say that, there's certain people that can't use certain aftercares, for sure.
Is the slap really worth it?
Is what worth it?
The slap.
Like if someone slapped me?
Yeah, like the slap on a tattoo or something.
Oh no, don't slap your tattoo.
What does the prep and cleaning process look like?
Prepping and cleaning?
Yeah.
It feels like like a lot of not fun work.
What's your personal opinion of Sarah?
Of Senator?
Yeah, Senator.
I don't mind it.
What all goes into shading?
Into what?
Shading.
I can't make it what you're saying, man.
Shading.
Shading? What goes into it?
Yeah.
Like color, black and gray.
Is there a sport style that you enjoy more than others?
I'd say I lean more towards like neo-traditional, new school, that area. I like everything though, honestly.
What do you enjoy the best?
What do I enjoy the best to do?
Yeah.
Probably neo-traditional, that area.
How did you start?
How'd I start? I was a piercer at the shop, and I asked Kurt, like, hey, I want to get into tattooing. And he's like, all right, draw for me. So I drew for like a year. Yeah, I just asked the guy at the shop that owned it.
Were you always artistic?
I was when I was younger, and then I got older and had kids and had to get a real job, as they say. So I drew less then. And then, yeah, later, I was in ways, I guess.
Dude, is it true that color hurts more than black and gray?
I don't think so. Personally, I have both, and they felt the same to me.
Have you ever refused a tattoo? And if you have, what was it?
I haven't had any that I had to refuse to do yet.
Do you have a crazy client story?
No, all my clients are really rad.
In your opinion, what defines a sexy tattoo?
I think that's a personal, like, preference thing. Like, so many things, like, can be great looking.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can see a Mario tattoo and be like, damn, that's sexy. I think it's just more of a saying than, like, a...
Yeah. How do you feel about tattoo freezing?
I mean, that's up to the person. I've never used it myself, but yeah, I don't mind like people that use it.
What makes it bad?
I don't know. Everyone has a different opinion of that. Someone loves their tattoo and then they love it. So, but it doesn't matter what I think of their tattoo.
Yeah, you're not them. So
yeah.
You don't really
know
why they're proud of that.
Yeah, no idea. So I wouldn't say there is ones that I'm like feel that way about.
In your opinion, what's the most painful place?
The most painful place I've gotten tattooed is the top of my feet.
What's your opinion of tattoo copycat?
Tattoo what?
Copycat.
I mean, if someone copied one of my tattoos, I feel like honored in a sense if they thought it was great enough to try to copy.
Really?
Yeah, I guess that's how I'd look at it. Like, they won't do it just like me because they're not me.
Yeah. What's your opinion of full-on scratches and people that don't understand that they are doing the whole process wrong?
I mean, everyone learns somewhere. So, I mean, they gotta start somewhere, and then hopefully they like take seminars and try to get an apprenticeship. I get it. People are trying to grind and do their thing. I'm not gonna like hate on nobody. If you don't give a hate, you don't get hate, right?
Why do you wrap the tattoo?
Just to keep it sanitary.
Is it a compliment when other artists either copy an element of your tattoo or embrace it?
I'd be cool with it. I'd be like, oh, they think it's great enough to do.
How do you deal with hate?
I guess I should say, thankfully enough, I haven't dealt with a lot of hate. I haven't had a lot of hate directed at me. Just the odd internet troll that might say something about a tattoo that's been posted. Usually I respond with, kindness. Just like, yeah, sorry that you're not, enjoying this tattoo, but my client loves it.
So obviously we've known each other for a few years now.
Yeah.
With Kurt Silver.
Yeah.
And where do you tattoo at?
So I'm in Elmsdale, Nova Scotia, and the shop is called Silver City Tattoos.
And what other art styles do you perform?
So outside of tattooing, creatively, oil painting, acrylic painting, filmography a bit.
Are there any times that you want to quit tattooing?
How many times I want to quit? Very early on, when you're struggling to learn and things don't seem to be going your way with your machine and technique. And definitely the struggles are times where you question whether you can make it through that, that learning curve.
Are there some months that you feel burnt out?
Artistically, you can hit dry spells. Yeah, because you're constantly having to be creative. I do. Yeah, I enjoy that clients are constantly pushing you outside your element, asking for something different than you've done. I've been doing this for near 20 years, and I still will get something like, wow, how am I going to put that together? And it pushes you, so that helps. But yeah, sometimes you can just draw a blank, and I'm going to have to take an extra day, you know?
Speaking about that, have you ever had any crazy client stories?
Any what?
Crazy client stories.
Oh, crazy client stories. Maybe just crazy requests that you'd never know in a million years how to make that all work within the space they want to put it.
What's your most memorable tattoo, either that you have or that you've done?
Oh, okay. As far as tattoos I've done that I find the most memorable are typically attached to something in life that's happened within their life, or somebody you're tattooing who is struggling with something in their life, like possibly terminal ill with cancer, and you're doing a tattoo for them. And that's an impact that will just change your life, you know?
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
My best and worst tattoo story? Wow. I guess the best stories are when you're requested to tattoo a tattoo artist who you admire. That's always that's a good feeling. That would be probably the highlights of the career when you're tattooing well-known tattoo artists as well. Worst would be early on for sure when you're trying to figure it out, or something happens, it breaks down and you're not sure how to deal with it.
How long have you been?
I mean, I don't even remember at this point. I'm somewhere between 18 to 20 years. Yeah.
What is the prep and cleaning process look like?
It becomes so routine, it's actually hard to break it down individually, but I mean, prep and cleaning process at this point has changed immensely since I started, because it's largely disposable. So it's pretty much clean up your station, everything's barriered, you know, reset and disposed of when you're done.
What's the best aftercare?
Yeah, very opinion based. It'd be the same as asking the best ink or needle. H2Ocean for sure. And then there's technique within that, like aftercare creams, H2Ocean. Soaps I like to work with, Why Tattoo, H2Ocean, hands down. As far as the aftercare process itself, I really like the tattoo to be bandage with a Tegaderm of sorts, or Sanoderm, or any of those brand names that stay on for 7 days. To me, we're seeing within my career no touch-ups anymore, like because people aren't able to touch their tattoo.
Why do you enjoy tattooing?
I mean, being able to create art that is carried anywhere a person goes is pretty cool. I gotta say, that was the person that caught me with it at 10 years old when I seen one, and I was drawing, and I thought, how cool would that be? Someone walk around with your art everywhere they went. It's pretty neat. Whatever a person deems too much for themselves, I would say. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously personal preference on what someone else thinks about what you think is too much, or but.
Why do you wrap the gun?
Oh, okay. So why do we barrier the gun? Oh, yeah. Just to prevent cross-contamination, because at this point, I shouldn't say at this point they are actually making disposable body frames and disposable full machines. But yeah, it would be to prevent cross-contamination. So they're barriered, but they're also broken down and cleaned and re-barriered before tattooing again. Yeah.
Anyone that doesn't have tattoos, I would do the same.
I think probably the best advice you can get about seeking out a tattoo is first deciding what it is you want, and if you don't know how to kind of do that process, talk to an artist who can help you even with the starting of that. Like I usually give somebody what I call like a wheel or a map, where think about what you want to say, what you want to feel, what you want to express, and then draw things out that remind you of those feelings and expressions, and then try to bring that into art. So, find an artist that you like the work and the style they're doing, and good reputation, friends you've seen with their work healed well. Yeah, things like that.
And when you go about doing a custom sleeve, meaning like it's more than one type type of female or scenery.
Oh, okay.
How would you go about mixing that?
Usually the best way to make a concept come together entirely with different concepts within it would be a foundational background, something that pulls it together that is similar throughout the tattoo.
And if there's anything you would like to say, then
Nah, man, just go out, get some ink. If you love it, show it off, get more.
How do you deal with hate?
I don't deal with it. Don't want no part of it. That's right.
What other art styles do you practice?
That's a good question. I like to draw a lot, paint, probably about it.
Are there any times that you felt burnt out after tattooing for a while?
After this weekend, probably.
Yeah, probably. Are there times you wanted to quit tattooing?
No, never. Never.
Good.
No, never.
Do you find some months your tattoos are better than others?
Not really. I don't think so.
What studio or parlor are you at?
I own Mark for Life Tattoos in Ormocto.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
I did a back piece on a guy, and they had all 158 names of the soldiers that passed away in Afghanistan. It's actually the guy I'm tattooing in that picture right there. He's got his whole back done like that.
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
I don't know what. I don't have a worst one.
How long have you been tattooing?
I started messing around with tattooing when I was 14. I didn't really take it serious, of course, at 14, but I've had my own shop be 14 years this summer.
How would you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So, if you want to get a tattoo and you don't really know what to do, or what kind of research goes into it, how would you recommend?
It just depends what you want to do, you know. Not every tattoo has to have meaning. You know, a lot of people here, they'll just go around and be like, yeah, I like that, so they get it, you know what I mean? And that's great. Tattoo, I mean, of course they can have meaning, and lots do, but, you know, sometimes it's just fun to get a tattoo, right? Make sure everything's clean, the area's clean, shaven, blah, 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 you know.
What's the best aftercare?
I don't know. So many people have so many different ways. You know, a lot of guys are using the Sandoderm thing nowadays, and I'll use it on the odd one. Just depends kind of where it's at, but
I noticed with bigger tattoos, like I'll go with those.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends, I guess, on the area and the person, and you know, the Sandoderm, they heal good. They really do, you know. So yeah, it just depends on the people and the area.
Is the slap really limited?
The slap? Yeah. I don't do that. No. Some of the old guys would do that. They get all done, they give it a swat, and it's like, nah. Yeah, I don't do that.
What's your personal opinion of the shape?
Of the what? Sandoderm? Like I said, it just depends, like the area, like the ditch of the arm, it works, you know, because you don't have to worry about it cracking or whatever. Ditch of the knee, you know, it just kind of depends where it's at. You know, I don't agree or disagree, I guess. I'll use it if need be.
It all goes into shading.
I don't know. It just depends what you're doing, really, you know. Sometimes black and gray shade, sometimes color. It just kind of depends what you're doing.
Is there a style that you enjoy?
Traditional. I really enjoy traditional. And I've been doing some 8-bit stuff. Yeah, it's fun. It's time consuming but fun. Yeah. I did a duck hunt one a while ago with the dog and the duck. It was like 3 hours. And then tomorrow I'm actually doing this one. So very time consuming but very fun at the same time, right?
Is it true that?
No, I don't think so. It's all the same, really.
Yeah. Have you ever refused a tattoo?
Yes. I have refused to tattoo people.
What was it?
It was a kid that was like, I don't know, 17 or 18, and he wanted his hands tattooed. Don't have a tattoo at all, but one. And I'm like, no, it ain't happening. Back in the day, you had to earn that. You know, your neck and your hands, but nowadays, I don't know, man, everybody has their neck and hands done, their face done. It doesn't really matter. But I won't. Younger like that. Pardon? Yes. I actually found some pictures the other day that my grandmother had saved from 1984 of drawings that I did, and I was like 7 years old or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
How do you feel about the
I don't use it. I got a spray that sometimes, like I think I might have used it 2 or 3 times. If I got like 15 minutes left to kind of get through, I'll use it, but other than that, I don't at all. Not really. I don't know enough about it to say, really. Listen to your artist. If the artist is telling you something's going to look good or not look good, listen to your artist, you know, and do your research.
How do you feel about full-on scratching?
I don't know. We all start somewhere, I guess, but I don't know.
Is it a compliment when other tattoo artists do a copycat tattoo?
I don't know. I mean, you can always use a reference, but you should try to make the design your own, right? It's hard nowadays with Pinterest and shit, but, you know, people, they'll bring you stuff in and you don't know if it's somebody else's or what, and you try to, you know, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not, I guess, depending on what it is. They say it's a form of flattery, but I don't know.
If there's anything you would like to say,
just have fun, chill out.
How do you do paint?
I try not to.
What other art styles do you practice?
I paint, I carve, I do leather work, I make a little bit of chainmail.
Are there times you've wanted to quit tattooing?
Like every 3 or 4 days, probably.
Are there some months where you feel your tattoos are better than other months?
Probably, yeah.
What studio or parlor are you at?
I'm at Lyle Street in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
I don't have any really bad ones. It'd be hard to put a finger on which was the best.
How long have you been tattooing?
Long time, about 20 years.
How would you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So, if you want to get a new tattoo, but don't really have an idea for what that tattoo is going to be.
Research. Pick something out of your artist's flashbook.
What does the prep and painting process look like?
It looks a lot different in a convention than a shop.
Yeah. What's your personal opinion of Ceraderm?
Saniderm.
Yeah.
Oh, I put that shit on everything.
What all goes into shading?
Loads. That's all I do is black and gray. So.
Is there a style that you enjoy better?
Black and gray, semi-realism.
Why do you enjoy that style?
Because I don't have to buy a whole bunch of colors.
Have you ever had to refuse a horrible tattoo idea?
Yeah, I've refused a few appointments.
What was it?
Usually stomach tattoos or silly tattoos, things that I don't really want to do.
How do you feel about freezing cream?
Freezing cream?
Yeah.
I use it myself. I get some of my clients to use it. It helps the process for sure.
How do you define a sexy tattoo?
A sexy tattoo? Yeah. I don't know. The size of the breasts, maybe?
In your opinion, what makes a bad tattoo?
A bad one?
Yes.
Oh, there's a lot of aspects. It's hard to say.
What's your craziest tattoo story?
My craziest tattoo story? I tattooed a river going around a fella's waist and a waterfall into the crack of his ass.
Well then, that would be interesting to explain. What are the 5 most horrible places in your opinion to get tattooed?
For me to tattoo? I don't like ribs. I don't really like necks. I don't like stomachs. Fingers I'm not too keen on.
Is that because they
just makes the process longer for me.
And what's your opinion on tattoo copycat? Meaning when someone full on copies something and instead of adding their own inspiration to the tattoo?
I think everything's a copy to a varying degree.
What's your opinion on scratchers?
My opinion is they should work harder to get an apprenticeship.
Is it a compliment for when other artists copy or using elements of their tattoo?
Yes and no. I guess it's kind of flattering when somebody thinks that you had a good idea and they want to do it too, but at the same time, nobody really likes being copied.
Yeah. How do you deal with hate?
Hey, so let's skip that one. I'm not too
what other art styles do you practice?
Art styles, oil painting, photography, mirror brushing.
Are there any times where you wanted to quit tattooing?
Yeah, I mean, there's always opportunity for different things.
Do you find some months your tattoos are better than other months?
What's that, sorry?
Do you find some months your tattoos are better than other months?
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody has their good days and their bad days. Depends on the piece, really. But yeah.
What studio or parlor are you at?
I own Carved and Stone Tattoo in Auburn, Nova Scotia.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Yeah, I don't have one, man. I got lost, I guess.
Is there a style that you enjoy doing better than some?
Just black and gray tattooing, I guess.
Is the slab really needed?
No.
What's the best aftercare?
Just regular fragrance-free lotion.
How long have you been tattooing?
17 years.
How do you go about sitting on a tattoo? So you want a new one, but you don't know what to get yet.
Yeah, it's $1 million question.
What does the prep and cleaning process look like?
Yeah, skip that one.
What's your opinion of tattoo copycats?
I think everybody's kind of copying everybody, honestly.
Why do you wrap the tattoo then?
Well, we wrap the tattoo machine to prevent cross-contamination.
What are 5 horrible places to get tattooed in your opinion?
Yeah, that's going to depend, but I'd say collarbone, wrist, ribs, the armpit, and the feet.
How do you define a sexy tattoo?
Oh, I don't know.
How do you deal with hate?
What kind of hate? Like haters?
Yeah.
Fuck them, embrace it. You know? Yeah, fuck it, you know? If you got haters, you're doing something right, you know? Hate me.
What other art styles do you practice?
Pardon?
What other art styles do you practice?
Mostly new school. I mean, I do everything under the sun, you know, but new school would be my jam, I'd say. New school, graphic illustrative, neo-traditional.
Are there any times that you practice a tattoo?
Every day. It's a love-hate thing, you know, like, clients are the best worst thing about it, you know? It's constant struggle, you know what I mean? Mentally, but it's also like the best thing in the world at the same time. It's a very love-hate relationship.
Do you feel like some months your tattoos are better than other months?
Pardon, sorry?
Do you feel like some months your tattoos are better than other months?
Yeah, like any month ahead, you know, like I even like my tattoos today would be better than my tattoos I did 5 months ago, right? You're always getting better.
What studio or parlor are you at?
Me, I'm at Bell City Tattoo in Brantford, Ontario.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Probably my first one. I was like 15 years old, hanging out with all like the old school punk guys that were like 20 and 30, and they're all around while I was getting this little chest piece. I'd probably say that.
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
My first time winning a trophy, that was like a really good feeling, you know? You know, worst one, I mean, like, there's a bunch. I mean, you know, like I got peed on, you know, like you get people pass out, they pee, I don't know, you know, there's a bunch of bad stuff that happens sometimes, but there's also lots of good stuff.
One of the stories I've heard from others, I don't think they're here this year, but one of their clients actually shit.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's like, yeah, it's pretty crazy what happens once your body goes into shock. So I mean, like, you have to be mentally prepared to deal with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. How long have you been tattooing?
Good. Well, maybe like 5 years. Officially, probably 10 years.
How would you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So if you want to get a tattoo, but you don't know what to do, and you don't exactly want to go fast.
What do you mean?
So the prep and cleaning process.
The prep?
Yeah.
Me personally, I do like all my drawings last minute. So it's like I'm up till like sometimes 4 in the morning doing a drawing for my appointment the next morning, and then sometimes I'll wake up early and do like refine it a bit, you know, and then yeah, hopefully the client likes it. If not, I make changes on the fly too, you know.
How did you start?
How did I start tattooing? 15 years old, hanging out in the tattoo shops with all, like I said, with all the punk skater kids. And the guy was like, you know, he got to wear what he wanted, dress how he wanted. Wasn't like, didn't have to dress conservatively. You know, didn't want that business job. You know, you got to draw pictures, listen to heavy metal, and like people think you're cool, and it was dope. I was like, this is what I want to do, man. And so I'm 31 now, and so I've been around it probably for 16 years. You know, it's changed a lot, but.
Were you always artistic?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, like I always wanted to work for Disney growing up. And then when I was younger, I would trace a lot of like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and stuff, and it's pretty much what I do now. Not much has changed.
What are 5 horrible places to get tattooed? So pain.
Oh, pain-wise? Fuck, man. Torso sucks. The stomach is like gross. Neck is bad. Top of your foot sucks. Inner thigh. You know. I'd assume your butthole. You know. I don't know.
What's your opinion of scratchers?
My opinion on scratchers? Nowadays, I don't think you should be scratching. Like, I don't think Amazon should sell the tattoo kits and do that stuff. Like, there's so much knowledge out there now. You know, like even with the internet and like, you know, doing things properly and cross-contamination and stuff, you know. But like my opinion on scratchers in the 90s and early 2000s, right, when there wasn't that much information out there, they had a place, right? Like I technically started actually tattooing out of my house, you know, for a minute, and I just kept trying to push to get better. And then I actually took a step back and then reapproached an apprenticeship through a shop, right? So I even stopped tattooing for probably like 6 months altogether, even though I was making money tattooing already. I stopped just so I could learn properly, and that was the moment in my life where like it kind of like broke me and made me better. You know what I mean? Like the way I excelled during an apprenticeship was way more efficient than on my own.
What's your opinion of tattoo copycats? I mean, like,
oh yeah, I mean it depends. Like I don't know. Like if you draw something from your head and you tattoo it, like a lot of big artists do, you shouldn't trace. Obviously, you shouldn't copy it. Like that's all. But a lot of people are like very entitled nowadays, where they're like, "You copied my tattoo," but I'm like, everyone's done the fucking Simpsons. You know, everyone's done a Pokemon. You know, like I didn't invent Charmander. You know, and neither did they. So it's like it depends on the version of copying, right? Like if it's like something you drew from your head that's your art, you know, yeah, like everything under the sun's been done, man. You know. Like, I get it, you know, you're not like the first person to do a skull, you're not the first person to do a rose, but it's like how you do that skull, how you do that rose, I think that kind of defines your style, right? And it just depends. It's like a really gray area, I think, you know what I mean? Like obviously, like, you know, there's tattooers that have art books out there, right? And they have line drawings and stuff. And a lot of people who look up to that style, they will buy those books and they'll retrace the image and they'll tattoo it, right? Is it right to do that? No, it was just looked down upon, but I mean, like, it's the same thing as buying a Disney book and tracing it, you know, so it's really a gray area, you know, it really depends. Like, if they try to copy the tattoo exactly, I don't think that's fair to the client or the artist, right? Yeah. But if they take a concept and try to make it their own, I think that's okay, you know? Like, we all take inspiration from somewhere, right? Sometimes it's hard because you're between a rock and a hard place, because you got this client who's bringing an image they found off Google and they want it exactly, and it's like, and then you're in a position where like, one, do I trace it exactly? I personally try to change it up depending on what it is, right? But I mean, like if it's like a heartbeat and a heart and a little cross or something like you know, like something simple and generic, just copy it. You know what I mean? Like we're all, you know, that's exactly what they want. You know, who am I to say what they should and shouldn't put on their body? You know, so like I said, it's a weird, it's a gray area. It's a very opinion situation, right?
How do you deal with paint?
How do I deal with paint? Ignore it.
What other art styles do you practice?
What art styles do I practice besides tattooing? Paint, I do creative design, I make costumes, anything that I can get right to, baking, icing cakes and stuff. Whenever I get stressed out, it just kind of gives me motivation to go harder. You know, there's a lot of people that want to see you defeated, and you know what I mean, and you just got to keep pushing and striving, yeah. As an artist, I'm my own worst critic. Like, I will rip apart my own tattoo, I'll stare at the picture till I hate it. Even though I loved it at first, fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but you always want to improve, you always want to get better. So even looking at pieces I did like 2 years ago, I'm like, oh, I could have did this different, or I could have did that different, so.
What studio or parlor?
I own the Arms Maiden Tattoo Parlor in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
My most memorable tattoo I did an entire back piece that was dedicated to one of my client's fathers who passed away, and there's the meaning behind it, and we had a really strong connection. That would be my most memorable.
What's the best and worst tattoo story?
Best tattoo story? I don't really have one, but I do get a lot of people that cry after they get a tattoo, and it means a lot, and they just boast about it, and that makes me feel good, knowing that they feel good.
grow up on me.
How long have you been tattooing?
15 years.
How long would you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So if you want to get into tattoo?
I usually say 3 to 6 months. If you're undecided, stick it on your fridge and keep looking at it every day. And you'll eventually rather still love it in 3 months, or you're going to hate it and find something else.
What does the prep and painting process look like?
For aftercare or setup of the tattoos? It's tedious. You literally sanitize everything and wrap everything to the knives, and then breaking down, everything goes in the garbage and everything's sprayed and cleaned.
What skin does the tattooing settle on?
What skin does it settle on? It settles in the first few layers. It only goes 1/16 of a millimeter in your skin. Yeah.
What's the best aftercare?
I wrap it with dermal hair and I leave it on for 7 days. Your body's natural fluids, the blood, and your natural plasma, your body reabsorbs it and it helps heal the tattoo faster. I found there's like no touch-ups, there's like the colors are brighter, the blacks are blacker, and you pretty much just have to forget about it until the 7th day when you take it off, wash it, and then your screen is pretty much healed.
Okay, why should you not wash or fresh tattoo with warm water?
With warm water?
Yeah.
You shouldn't wash your fresh tattoo with warm because it'll burn like it's like a paper cut. You put it in hot water and a paper cut basically. It's a little bit more of a bigger wound and it's just, there's bacteria that can live in the warm water more so that's worse than the cold water. Yeah.
Were you always artistic?
I was, yeah.
How do you feel about tattoo freezing?
Tattoo freezing?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna get a tattoo, you're getting it for the feeling and the sensation. If you want to freeze it and you're nervous about that, then you shouldn't get a tattoo.
How do you classify a sexy tattoo?
Any tattoo can be sexy. Anybody can wear a tattoo and it can be sexy.
Why do you wrap the gut?
To protect it from bacteria, micro spray, all that stuff. They are therapy as well. I tattooed a lot of people that were cutters and self-harm, and they turned to tattoos to get away from that. It's kind of like another form of self-harm, but at least you're getting something out of it. Yeah, you're not leaving yourself with scars, you're leaving yourself with something beautiful that you can love yourself about, so.
And if there's anything you would like to say?
If you don't have a tattoo and you're thinking about it, just do it. Because once you get one, you can't stop. They're like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
How do you deal with hate?
Hate doesn't bother me. People can hate all they want.
What other art styles do you practice?
If I'm not tattooing, I'm doing renos. I'm in the garden with the dog.
Are there any times you wanted to quit tattooing?
No.
Do you find that some months after other months, your tattoos are better than like other months prior?
Oh yeah. Every month you notice a big change.
What studio or parlor are you?
I have my own private studio in my house, Quality Ink.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Any new, bright, fun patch sticker.
What's your best and worst tattoo story?
Ooh, my best tattoo story would be winning 3 awards at the last convention. Worst is having to give deposits back to a friend because I didn't like the tattoo she wanted.
How long have you been tattooing?
3 years March.
How long would you recommend sitting on a tattoo? So you want to get a new tattoo, but you're new to the tattoo world, and
it depends on what you want, how big, what style, and the location.
What does prep and cleaning, like what does the prep and cleaning process look like?
A lot of disinfectant, disposable stuff. You just gotta clean absolutely everything and anything that client or you will be touching.
What's the best aftercare product in your opinion?
Ink Bump.
What's your personal opinion of Cerulean?
Saniderm, best stuff ever. People that don't use it are behind the times. Need to move forward.
What all goes into shading?
Shading?
Yeah.
Needle depth, voltage, light hand, and just understanding somebody's skin.
And how do you darken or lighter certain ink colors?
Depends if you want a muted tone palette or keep it bright. Complementary colors that are lighter, not necessarily just using black or white.
Is it true that color hurts more than black ink?
No, a tattoo hurts the same no matter what you're doing.
How did you start tattooing?
I bought a machine off of Wish and then I started tattooing myself and now I'm here.
Were you always artistic?
Yes.
How do you feel about tattoo freezing cream?
That's up to the client, but I don't use it for clients because they have to come prepared with it.
How do you define a sexy tattoo?
Well, what is sexy is a personal preference, so I don't find tattoos sexy, I find them interesting.
In your opinion, what makes a bad tattoo?
A bad tattoo? You could have a bad tattoo, but an amazing story of how you got it, so it necessarily isn't a bad tattoo.
Is it a compliment when other artists copycat their artists, or completely copy what you do?
I find it as a compliment. If someone's gonna copy me, cool. It's kind of the industry of being online.
Yeah. Why do you wrap the tattoo gun?
For cross-contamination, and you don't want to get any of the ink which has blood in it, etc. Everything gets wrapped.
What's the five most horrible places to get a tattoo in your opinion?
Armpit, back of the knee, side of the knee, ribs, and bottom of the feet.
If there's anything you would like to say about your studio, say it now. How do you deal with hate?
How do I deal with hate? I just don't. Haters are gonna hate, and there's just no room in this world for it, so just ignore it and move on. That's it, ignore it and move on. People that hate are usually the people that are not happy with themselves, so.
What other art styles do you practice?
Anything that I can. I do painting, drawing, tattooing, sculpting, glass etching, yeah.
Are there any times that you want to quit?
Only once, and it was actually because of just clients being assholes, and there was another shop that was moving in my town that convinced me not to because they were just going to move in and start fucking people up, so I decided that I wasn't allowed to quit. I wouldn't say that the tattoos are necessarily better month to month as much as tattoo ideas kind of vary, so you know, sometimes I get something really great, other times it's just not.
What's your most memorable
Most memorable tattoo would probably be, I've got a client that he flew in from Alberta to Cape Breton to specifically get tattooed by me, and we tattooed him for 18 and a half hours over 2 days straight to do his entire back with angel wings, and even though he cried a puddle on my floor, he still took it like a champ and fucking did great.
How long did it
I started tattooing for the first time in 1995, did my first professional tattoo in 98, and I've been doing nothing but tattooing as a career since 2008. 27 years this year total that I've actually been behind the needle, and 14 years that I've been constant at it.
Where are you tattooing?
We tattoo out of Cape Breton. I own a shop there called Bearing, and at my shop we do everything.
What does the prep and cleaning cost?
Prep and cleaning, lots of calcicide, lots of disinfectants, you know, making sure everything's as sanitary as possible, and then we just try to cover everything the best we can to make sure that there isn't any cross-contamination. That way our clients stay safe, and so do the artists.
Is it true that color hurts more than black and gray?
Yes and no at the same time. It's not that the color hurts more than the black and gray as much as just when you're doing black and gray, you're usually doing what we call feathering the ink in, so it's not as hard on the skin. When you're doing color, you're doing color packing, so it's a lot of just over and over and over. So that's why most people usually find that color is actually more painful, but it's not the color as much as the process of putting in the color. Yeah, well that's it. It's the process that makes it more painful, not necessarily what color you use, because we actually had a client back in the day that didn't want black ink in her tattoo because she thought the black ink hurt most, when it's really usually the outline that hurts more than the shading.
Why did you start?
Always interested, and I've always felt a strong connection to the tattoo world. It's a very, very vast history that this culture has, and my father being a tattoo artist just gave me the bonus to be able to get into it real early, and just another form of art to love.
Were you always artistic?
Always. Started drawing from the time I could pick up a pencil, literally at a couple of years old. My parents, well, up until about 10 years ago, literally had piles taller than anybody here of my drawings, just stacks of them, and I just always loved it.
How do you feel about tattoo freezing?
Tattoo freezing cream, I'm not a big fan of it, just for the plain and simple fact that it can actually do more damage to the area than it can help sometimes, because it's not really, as much as people use it for tattooing, it's not really meant for it. So it can swell up the skin and stuff like that, which makes it harder to tattoo. So when it works properly, it's fantastic, but when it doesn't, it really shits on everything.
What's the skin called?
Well, the tattoo actually settles 5 layers deep, basically. So it's right in the subdermal layer, because you've got 9 layers of skin, and we try to get right about in the middle, right about 4th, 5th layer, so the tattoo holds nice.
What would happen if you didn't get it?
If you don't get it in the right spot, you can have multiple things happen, including bleeding of the tattoo, where the ink will actually start to spread and turn the skin kind of greenish, almost like a bruise. That can happen if you don't go deep enough, as well as if you go too deep. Other things that can happen is serious fading of the tattoo, where it just won't stick because there's not enough to hold.
How do you deal with hate?
I really only can do the best I can. If people want to give me advice on like what they want to see from my art, I take constructive criticism, but there's so much hate out there, you can't really let it bother you, right?
What other art styles do you practice?
So I do Western Indigenous style art and Métis style art. I'm Korean Métis, and so I really like specializing in that and learning a lot about the culture. I also love doing black and gray art, but I will do color art as well. I've kind of dabbled in a bunch of things at the moment.
Are there any times you wanted to quit?
Not quit tattooing. There are a couple times where something's not working out the way I plan it to be. It's usually the stencil, and I wonder, like, at what point do I give up on this project? But you always just have to push through those tough moments, and you always make it through, and it's super rewarding when you do. I always find myself improving. It's just how you grow as a person, as an artist. But I don't ever think like, oh, my tattoos are better than they have been.
So
it's kind of a growing process. Yeah, exactly.
What's your most
Right, so if you roll the natural one, sorry.
My most memorable tattoo.
Yeah.
I only think of the first tattoo I did at the shop in front of the boss. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, and it was on my boyfriend. So my best tattoo story, I guess, I was tattooing my sister's thigh, and she was doing a really cool Harry Potter dragon, and so like that was a lot of fun. And especially being able to do it on her, it felt really cool. Made me feel great about myself, and yeah, she pushed through, and it turned out awesome. So I was really happy that day.
How do you deal with hate?
Oh, like trolls on the internet and that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the easy one. I don't deal with it. It's the best way to deal with it, man.
Yeah.
Pretend it don't exist. That's the problem with trolls on the internet, or you don't get haters in person anymore because no one's got the courage to hate you in person anymore.
Yeah.
It's all on the internet. And the thing is with trolls, the worst thing is it appears as if they have the same knowledge as professionals or anything like that, you know? But in reality, they probably don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's how I deal with it. You pretend they don't exist, because in the end, they disappear if you pretend they don't exist.
Yeah.
If you actually acknowledge them, that's what gives them power, and they'll stick around.
What other types of art styles do you practice?
I'm an oil painter.
Are there any times that you've wanted to quit tattooing?
Never, no.
Do you find some months your tattoos are better than other months prior?
You know, I used to in the beginning of my career because I didn't associate physical health with tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started associating physical health with tattooing, I stayed consistent. Now, everything's consistent across the board.
What studio or parlor are you at?
Longliner Tattoo. We got a couple locations in Newfoundland.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
I don't know. I can tell you ones that's most well known. Like, I did a portrait from the show Breaking Bad. Okay. That one might be. Oh yeah, that one might be because it just got most well known.
Yeah.
Versus the rest of them, right?
No,
but memorable for me is tough, right?
What does the prep and cleaning process look like?
These days is a lot quicker and easier than it used to be. Before my time, you needed to autoclave things because they were reusable. Now everything's disposable, so it's a very quick process.
Is the slap really worth it?
The slap?
Yeah.
That's craziness. It's not even a thing. Yeah.
What's the best aftercare?
Well, the thing is, I'm becoming a bit of an old guy, so like I use just like an ointment. But these days, with the second skin style of, I think that's superior, but yet I still don't use it. That's the thing, right? So,
you get used to it.
I'm an old guy, man. It's hard to learn new tricks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you start tattooing?
I taught myself. I was a fisherman, offshore fisherman, and I decided I wanted to start tattooing. So.
Were you always artistic?
Yes, right from the get-go.
What's your opinion about freezing cream or numbing cream?
I don't use none of the creams, but I do use a mild version of that, which is like just an antiseptic spray from the drugstore. A very mild version of that, but I mean, it's got its place in the industry. I don't disagree with it.
Yeah. How do you define a sexy tattoo?
Everyone's different with that, right?
Yeah.
Sexy with me is like how the more real it is, that's the sexier it is.
In your opinion, what makes a bad tattoo?
Craftsmanship. Art is subjective. The way it's applied is not subjective. It's either applied good or not.
What are the 5 most horrible places to get a tattoo replacement on your opinion?
Oh, I thought you meant pain.
Yep.
Pain?
Yeah.
Okay, this.
So that ends one.
Everything else, you know, I got my head tattooed, the neck and all that stuff. That's painful.
Yeah.
Stomach and all that. But nothing comes in comparison to the pound. That's another level.
Yeah.
That's worse than any broken bone I've ever had.
Do you think it's because of all the nerve endings in our palm?
That is double whammy, is that and the technique. Because you have to cut the skin and you got to push really hard. You have to do the opposite of what you does with everything else.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else you got to be careful not to go too deep.
Yeah.
And when I was getting my palm tattooed, she was cutting the skin. Ooh. Yeah.
Is it a compliment when other tattoo artists chemically copycat your design?
You know, I never had that problem. I never had people copying me before. You know, I'm a portrait artist, so if I does portrait of Breaking Bad, I can't go ragging on the next artist for doing it because I never come up with that. I'm a portrait artist, right?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, a lot of these guys are so talented in making up their own designs, and they would have a problem with copying. But like I said, how can I be claiming someone copying me when all I'm doing is recreating pop culture?
Yeah.
You know?
And lastly, how do you feel about tattoos that are inspired by other artists? So there may be something that someone wants, but the client doesn't exactly want it strictly like that. They want the artist to go and add in their own inspiration, their own details onto.
That's a fucking gray area there, man. You really got to be mindful of not making it a copy. So when someone says, I want this tattoo, it's the responsibility of the artist to not copy that. There are situations where the artist will be like, we'll just change this, and now it's your own.
Yeah.
If they don't go far enough, and that's a gray area, there's no borderline.
Yeah.
There's a gray area. If you don't change it enough, you're still just copying. But if you change it enough, it's inspired from that other tattoo, but you've changed it enough so the client walks away with an original piece. And you're insulting the client and the other artist if you don't do that. You know? So that's a big deal.
How do you deal with hate?
I kind of just take what I need from it and don't dwell on it too much.
Look at a tattoo / piercing.
Yeah, it's Elevated Body Adornment in Toronto. I own the shop and I'm a piercer there, and we have tattoos there as well.
What do you have to go through to learn tattoo piercing?
It's the same kind of process as tattooing. Like, you have to find a piercer that you admire, get pierced by them a bunch, keep bothering them until they agree to apprentice to you.
What sort of differences do you have to learn?
There's a lot of nerve stuff that you have to learn, anatomy, the way the planes of the body move. I wouldn't say, like, they both have their own, like, learning curves, for sure, yeah.
How would you recommend to someone that wants to get either new or they want to finally get their first piercing, what would you recommend them to do?
Eat a nice meal beforehand, do your research, find a piercer that you admire and trust their work, and go from there.
When you are looking into the research process of getting a piercing, what should you for that specific type of piercing?
I would ask them if they use implant grade jewelry and if it's internally threaded, and those are pretty good indicators. If they don't use good quality jewelry, it's probably not the greatest spot to go.
And why do you not want to go to another level? Say,
your legs in your eyes.
Some place that isn't actually piercing shop.
So Claire's doesn't really have any sort of training or anything like that. Guns are also really traumatic. It's just shoving a blunt earring through an ear, whereas a needle is made to be pierced. So it's a lot different for sure. It's much better and less traumatic on your body. So using implant grade jewelry, that would assure that there would be no nickel content in there. Some white gold does have some nickel in it, so you just have to ask the piercer, and hopefully they're transparent with you and tell you exactly what they're putting into your body.
Oh, that's a hard one. Sleepless nights. I try to ignore hate. I really kind of very versatile, so almost any other kind, really.
Have there ever been times where you wanted to quit?
Never.
You feel like sometimes your tattoos are what's places in?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just something you're really into and you love. That does tend to come out a little bit more what you like.
What studio or parlor are you at?
I own Crystal Head Tattoo Company.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Done a couple of lion pieces this year that are really stood out to me that I really liked, and a couple of really bright, colorful pieces. I like animals.
How would you recommend getting on a tattoo? If you want to get a tattoo, but you don't know if you want a fast tattoo.
You know, I find that it really depends on the person. Some people want to spend a year thinking about what they want. Some people are just like, hey, let's go get a tattoo today. Either it's about half and half, and I don't feel one way worse than another.
What does the prep and cleaning process look like?
Well, as far as prepping, of course, there's a lot of design work, working with your client to make sure that what they're looking for is something that is what you're able to do and like.
What's your personal opinion about Sanaderm?
About what?
Sanaderm.
Love it.
What all goes into shading?
Various things. Really kind of one of those things that's hard to describe. It's just, for a lot of artists, it's just feel. You know?
Is it true that color hurts more than that?
Not necessarily. One might consider the color hurts more because you move around on the body part, you go back and forth changing the colors, and you go back to areas that can be kind of sore, whereas all blacks tend to, once you have your line, you kind of just shade all the way from one angle to the other. So in a sense it could hurt more, but ultimately it's the needle that hurts and not the ink. So
what defines a sexy tattoo?
This guy's right here.
I am sexy.
What's your opinion about full-on tattoo copycats?
That's what you gotta do. That's sort of sad, but hey. Copying is what they say, the highest form of flattery too.
Why do you Rat the tattoo guy?
2 reasons. Sanitation, keeps it fully covered and protected from dirt, mess, bodily fluids, and keeps a nice comfy grip.
How long have you been tattooing?
I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
How do you deal with hate?
Hate?
Yes.
Oh, I mostly just laugh at it, ignore it, you know? Yeah. I just make a joke out of it kind of thing. I don't get a lot of hate in the workplace, honestly. It's pretty upbeat vibe in the tattoo world right now, so.
What other art styles do you practice?
Well, I do mainly like neo-Japanese anatomical stuff, like floral and all that. You can even like mesh it all together, right? So yeah, basically what I do.
Have there been times where you wanted to quit?
No, I've been around this my whole life, so I knew what I want to do, and I just keep doing it. Well, it's something that you love to do, right? So I kind of want to keep doing it.
Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes your tattoos are better than others?
Well, of course, yeah. I'm only human after all, right? So I will have some rough days, but every day I give it my all, 110%. So.
And what parlor or studio are you at?
I'm in Eternal Dragon Tattoo in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
What's your best tattoo story?
Well, I could say the best tattoo story is that my teacher is my father. He taught me everything I knew. Yeah, and that's why I'm here today, pretty much. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So I'd say that'd be like the best tattoo story for me. I did my first tattoo when I was 8 years old.
When you say color ink hurts more than blacking,
that depends. Because when you say coloring compared to black ink, there's people that get like the blackout tattoos, right? And that's just solid saturated black. And then you get colored, which is also just saturated color, right? Solid saturated color. So it'd feel the same. I'd say Probably shading depending on the artist. It probably may feel a little bit less painful compared to like color packing. When you're coloring, you want to make it nice and tight and saturated and all that, right?
Put as much
Exactly. But when you're shading, you want to start small and then kind of whip it out, right? So.
What's your opinion about freezing cream?
Numbing cream?
Yeah.
Ooh, yes and no. Honestly, like 5% or more lidocaine in the cream it hurts the skin, I would say, or it doesn't hurt the skin, it just makes it hard to tattoo.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, it's okay to tattoo over, but it doesn't last as long, right? So
yeah. So how would you define a sexy tattoo?
I guess that would depend on where you're getting it, honestly. Like for a female, I guess that what you're asking me, kind of thing. Anybody, any gender. Really anything that just flows nice with the body, right? Like if you get like a hip piece on like a female, you want it to fit the hip and whatnot, flow with the glute and the quads and the hamstrings and all that, right? So you want it to all have a nice flow to it, have it fit the person's kind of personality more or less. So
what goes into tattoo consultation?
I'll just sit down, talk to the person, go over a few ideas. You know?
How do you deal with the hate process?
I'm all about killing people with kindness, so it doesn't bother me any. If they want to go somewhere else, they can. But I tend to lay on the kindness a little extra thick when they're being hateful, so that it kind of makes like a stark contrast, so they know how much of a dick they're being.
What other art styles do you like?
So I'm actually a body piercer, so I kind of specialize mostly in ear projects, but we do have a lot of like variation in our studio for what we do.
So, granted the fact that you are what really goes
into what side? Like stretching ears?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there used to be like a huge process with that, like, you know, using tapers and stuff to stretch people up over time, but now the industry has kind of learned a little bit more, and we're shifting more towards something called dead stretching. So basically using the weight of your jewelry to stretch your ears themselves. So what I've kind of been doing is just selling people mostly glass jewelry, things that are a little bit heavier, so we can get like really nice stuff in right away, and then the weight of their jewelry over time will just bring them right up to the next size.
Were you always artsy?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been a doodler, so as a kid, like, you know, in school, I always got put into like extracurricular art stuff because I would just like draw in my notebooks and stuff like that.
So, how do you feel about numbing?
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a great option if used correctly for people who are a little bit more pain sensitive. I don't know what it does for the skin in terms of tattooing, but in terms of piercing, it doesn't have any negative effects as long as, again, it's being used appropriately.
What different types of piercing needles are there?
Oh, there's all kinds, but the most common ones I would say would be 18 and 16 gauge for anything above the neck, and 12 and 14 gauges for anything below the neck.
Unlike piercing, with a tattoo, you put ink underneath a certain layer of skin called hyperdermis. Is there anything that you have to scientifically follow when you're piercing something? Because I know there's different types of cartilage and stuff like that, and some can be stronger than others. So if you're piercing an ear through cartilage compared to another place of cartilage, what differences are there?
So that's a good question. It's very anatomy dependent for sure. So the first thing we would want to do is like obviously make sure that they're anatomically suited for the piercing, and that would mean having, like say for an industrial piercing, you have to have these ridges on their ear, and this part, the helix flat, can't be too raised or else it's going to put pressure. So we have to look at the actual anatomy of their body, and then the next thing is like, I like to describe cartilage plates kind of like scales.
Yeah.
So they have like connection points. So you try to kind of get them in a spot that has like the thinnest piece of cartilage that has the less high motion. So a lot of times it involves like tugging on people's ears, or if it's a nostril, making them make faces like scrunching their nose and smiling and just kind of moving it around, touching it to make sure that you're not in a very high motion area that's going to get a lot of friction.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How do you deal with hate?
Just ignore it. It's pretty easy, you just gotta ignore it, man.
Well, do you practice any other art forms as well as tattooing?
I tattoo, I paint, a lot of digital art.
Have there been times where you wanted to do tattooing?
I want to say yes, but not really, nah. I love it too much. So, some days, you know, it gets stressful, but
oh, yeah.
I'll never quit.
Sometimes your muscle memory may have been gone for a bit. Even though you still know how to do that, you gotta work back up to where you were.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you find that some months your tattoos are better than previous months before?
Not really. I think they're evolving every month and getting better. Yeah.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Most memorable? Oh, jeez. I just did a penis on a milk carton that said 100% cream and missing.
Penis on a milk carton?
And it said missing, so the missing penis, and it said 100% cream.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I'll remember that one forever.
What does the prep and cleaning process look like?
The prep?
Yeah.
It's for the style that I do, stickers. The prep is about 2 hours. I draw them, cut them out, cripple them, I photograph them, and then we'll tattoo. Yeah, it's a big process.
What's your personal opinion of Sanaderm?
Sanaderm? Right here. I love it.
Love it. And going along with that, does Sanaderm help a lot with the kind of stickered style of the tattoos?
I think it helps with healing tattoos in general. When it's used correctly, it speeds up the process almost by 50%. It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I used to be somewhat scared of it until I used it for my most recent. And even though I don't like how bad it cools, you know,
it gets pretty funky.
And all that, it does take a few days off from the process.
And it's easier. You just do nothing instead of washing and stuff. You just forget about it.
Is there a style that you enjoy better?
More than stickers?
Yeah.
Oh, I really enjoy stickers, but I think new school. I'm waiting for new school to make a comeback. I love it. Cartoons all day.
How did you start tattooing?
I didn't want to be a tattoo artist. I wanted to be a body piercer. And it was about 13 years ago. And this local shop was looking for an apprentice for tattooing. And I figured, maybe I'll just do simple little ones, and that'd be my foot in the door to become a body piercer. But tattooing took over, and I never became a body piercer.
How do you
I just move on, go home, watch TV. I paint sometimes.
Other times you want
definitely, like sometimes my body hurts, but I love tattooing, so I never want it.
Do you find that someone's
I think more based on creativity levels. Like sometimes my pieces are more creative than others. But that's it.
That's the best.
Any derm bandage is awesome.
Is this slap that you needed?
Absolutely not. No.
What's your personal opinion of Sanaderm?
I love it. I love Sanaderm.
Have you ever
Yep, lots. There's a lot of things that just don't translate in the style that I do, and I feel like if someone else is going to do a better job of it, I'm going to direct them to that person to get the best tattoo possible.
What do you feel about tattoo?
Yeah, why not? Like there's certain brands that work better than others, so if someone wants to use it, just let me know ahead of time, but why not?
Why should you not hit at a infected tattoo?
It'll just make it more inflamed.
How do you deal with hate?
Really just gotta look past it. In most creative fields, there's always a lot of hate.
Yeah.
But for every hater, there's 20 people who love your work and 20 more who are like deeply passionate about it. So people who want to hate, you just gotta move on.
What other art styles do you try?
For tattooing, I do black and gray realism, but in like traditional art, I typically work in digital and I do color realism, focusing in like dark surrealism, mostly like portraiture that is in some way disturbing or like, you know, bugs crawling out of the mouth or whatever.
What studio or parlor are you from?
I work at Ninth Gate Gallery in Sydney, Nova Scotia. on Cape Breton now.
Are there any times where you want to take that?
I don't think so. Honestly, I've always had a drive to just keep getting better and better, and I'm always looking to learn from new artists or watching seminars or whatever, and always trying to push it to the next level. So no, not really.
Some months, do you find that your tattoos are better than other previous months?
Yes, but I find that that's mostly on like, it's waves of clients who are coming in. Sometimes it's a month of memorials or of like more simple things, and then sometimes it's a wave of like portraits and like dark stuff and the stuff that I'm into. So I end up with like these waves of really big, cool pieces, and then just the bread and butter of the tattooing industry.
Why do you wrap the tattoo then?
Safety. We don't want any blood or contaminants getting on top of the machine.
What's your most memorable tattoo?
Pretty much anyone there's no one that stands out, but anytime I have a good time with a client where we're just chilling, hanging out, chatting about fun stuff, things that we're both interested in, is always a good one that sticks out. Oftentimes those clients become friends. Those are always the best ones.
Yeah. What's your best and worst tattoo story?
Best would just be all those times where I've made friends and connections outside of the tattoo industry, and like genuine friends who contact me to hang out rather than just for more tattoos. And the worst, I've had people try to redo the tattoo 6 times 10 minutes before the tattoo appointment, and constantly wanting redraws or whatever, or things just generally outside of my scope of expertise. Those are probably the worst.
How do you deal with the hate process?
How do I deal with it? Well, I never really had to work with it. I mean, if someone doesn't like the work, like it's just that belongs to him. Like it's, I don't know.
What other art styles do you practice?
Nothing. I just do realistic stuff.
Do you find some months the tattoos are better than previous months?
No, I would say like you're getting better with time, like with the years, but no.
What's the most memorable tattoo?
I did a massive piece in 2019 for the Gano convention. We did 16 hours in 2 days. It was like a massive leopard with flowers and stuff. So it was this one.
What's the best aftercare?
Aftercare? Yeah. Well, usually I use like the second skin, so it's like the plastic wrap you put over the tattoo. So
what are the 5 most painful spots?
Well, the back is one of the most painful. The feet.
So, did you want me to start on my stomach or
on your back?
Back again? I say the favorite part.
Are you being sarcastic?
Kind of.
Really?
Yeah, I do like it, but I don't. The shading, I'm kind of used to it and like know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
But with the line work, it's like you have to start someplace. So.
Yeah, you think that like shading would hurt more? It's just like more needles, but surprisingly, it's not.
Yeah, this look though looks a lot better than that sketch there I gave you.
Kind of like looks.
I just didn't like that, like all that fur on it.
Yeah, I found like the fur made it look like more feminine.
Yeah. All my pop culture stuff's gonna be on my legs and stuff. This video though will probably be, like I said, it's for the EXPO. Okay. So it'll probably be like a little premiere EXPO teaser thing, and then in the main thing, so I'm gonna include the 2019 stuff that my oldest brother can see auras and apparitions, and I can see apparitions, and used to be able to see auras better, but now like I have to actually like focus harder.
Yeah.
But we used to have a family Ouija board that we played with. Never said goodbye, we still have it, but nothing too crazy has happened. We have lost people in the family, yes, but like nothing too crazy. It's just I'm into that stuff, I'm writing a screenplay about it, so good for research and all that. That's also why I didn't want this to be so like satanic and dark too, because yes, I like that look, I like that style, but I mean with that shit you gotta be careful. I thought it was like a light brown.
Yeah, this one is a little bit lighter than the other
it still
brand I
looks
have
good
for
though with that black, and like
yeah,
my skin takes color good, so that pigment's just right?
What's your idea for your next tattoo?
I kind of want to get the one that's going to hurt a lot out of the way, which is the itch one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's going to be super painful and we'll probably need freezing, so I don't know about it. Other than that, if I end up getting one at the expo, then probably just a flash one or something. I don't know, really. I mean, I do have, sadly, in one way, quite a few to add to my memorial arm.
Yeah.
Because I do it in, like, I don't want to just go in for one for that. The one you saw is actually just for 3 different people.
Oh, okay.
And I got all the 3 of them done at once. So I kind of want to do 3 at the same time for my sleeve, like memorial sleeve.
Yeah.
So I can choose between skeleton head with like headphones and it plugged into like the burn here.
Okay.
And make that burn bigger. And since like I technically am, an orphan, I'm gonna have for lulz, like I have a dark sense of humor, so I'm gonna have Batman symbol in that burn.
Okay.
And then after that, I need to get a crow for my grandpa. And then I want to get something for someone who got screwed over by someone out west. By that I mean he just trusted the wrong people, took something, and it was laced.
Oh fuck, was it laced with like fucking
Fentanyl?
fentanyl?
Yep.
Yeah, that shit is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's in a way also what took my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Mainly the doctors did though. I mean, they prescribed it.
Really?
But yeah, obviously I'm gonna cut this bit out.
Yeah.
But, he had, like when I was young, he had a past with stuff. Yeah, he got a hold of it, and then when we lost my mother, he fell in a deep, deep depression. Went to therapy, but it wasn't therapy. You know, they listened and instantly prescribed.
Oh yeah.
That's also why I wanted to do psychology a bit. But also why is like eventually in the future, like with my studio, I want it to be like mainly everyone lives at the house. So I feel like knowing psychology and knowing how the mind works can help.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It's also why I like tattoos so much though, because you can like hold on to that sad emotion and like release it via a tattoo.
I get like a lot of people that they're like message me like, I've had such a shitty day, like do you have any time to tattoo today?
Yeah.
And like I love those times, like, you know, people come to me, I just met them 5 minutes ago and they're telling me their life story.
Yeah.
Like I've had people in tears sometimes, like compared to working at Pita Pit, like I talk to people about sandwiches and what their favorite sandwich is, what they like about it. Like, but here it's like I'm actually like connecting with people.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing that's like amazing about all styles of art and all that. Like, you can like authentically connect with, well, you know, personalities, but also people. Like something I noticed with line art, when you wipe it down the first time, it hurts a lot more. When you first wipe it down with line art rather than shading.
Yeah. That's because like when we're doing like the shading and color and stuff.
Yeah.
Our like the paper towel, we like drench it. Where if you do that when you're coloring or lining, you're gonna wipe away the stencil.
Oh, okay.
So that's why after you want to get it just
yeah. Something too with that brown is it eventually will match with that red. It's pretty good. One thing that I also learned through like getting tattooed is at the start you do the research and you say that you're only gonna stick to one artist.
Yeah.
And then you get your second or third and stuff, and before long you got 2 or 3 main artists. You start adding more and getting to know more. But it's just funny because when you first start out, you think it's like barber.
Yeah.
Sort of like don't cheat on your barber.
I've referred some of my clients to other artists.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, are you sure? Like, I don't want to... Like, I obviously love Japanese. Love doing Japanese. But when people come to me and they want, like, the huge back piece, I always send them to Max Baird.
Yeah.
Because, like, he does my Japanese work, and he's amazing at it. And, because I don't really think I'm ready to do, like, full Japanese back pieces yet.
Yeah.
And people are like almost offended when I tell them, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, I want you to get a better tattoo than just taking your money.
Yeah, and that's something people do get like kind of annoyed in a sense if you don't take them.
Yeah, I've had people actually get pissed when I said that style is like above my skill level.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel comfortable doing it. I've actually had people mad. But I'm like, I'm telling you that you're not gonna get a good tattoo.
Yeah.
And they're still mad. I obviously don't do it. Because, you know, we are a business. We do everything we can to work with the clients and stuff. But that was only like a few people. Most people are pretty like, most people thank me. And, you know, I'll never hear from them again. Or some people will message me back with, hey, do you think this is something that you feel comfortable doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah.
And I came back for this because that, like, the shading you did on the knife there looked like
oh yeah, how'd that feel?
Stuff.
Oh, awesome.
That mixed with brown and red.
This is just straight brown.
I know when I get almost like covered up, the most annoying bit for both me and the artist is I want from the top down like think of a dead tree and like there's red and blue glowing throughout it.
Okay.
Like between the bark.
Yeah.
Obviously some other thing than where that eye with the that's different, but yeah, I just want it to look like it's glowing.
Yeah.
In between the bark. I know like matching up eventually when I get more here and stuff in between is gonna be so annoying, but
just makes it challenging.
Yeah.
It makes our minds start going crazy. I think that's what's fun too about going to different artists. It's nice when you go to an artist and like you give them a design that they like love to do.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like super stoked to do it. Like I can always tell when I'm excited to do a tattoo when somebody books and I'm drawing it that day. Their appointment's not for 2 weeks, but I'll still like be drawing it that night as soon as I call. Like I got shit to do the
you
next
get like
day.
hyper fixated on
Yeah.
When you mix different styles together, like on a like certain say canvas piece.
Yeah.
What do you have to think of like how that will blend together? And I'm talking about like say there was a Japanese piece here.
Yeah.
Mixing with that. Or this sort of style.
Yeah, that you do have to think about that a lot. You do need to think kind of long term, especially if we're talking Japanese, because you can't really add like the Japanese background to anything.
Yeah.
But you can't just put waves behind anything. So you kind of have to think ahead with some tattoos. And then like because I have like a Japanese leg sleeve.
Yeah.
And when I was getting a tattoo from a different artist by there, he was like, are you getting more work done here? Because I don't want to slap this tattoo in the middle of it and then fuck everything up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's also another reason why like I want to have pretty much like all my tattoos before I go in for that texture like wood thing, especially up here, because since I want the burn in it to be 3D there, it just gotta take time.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, he'd be pissed at me.
What?
I never thought I'd get a tattoo.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got the one, and you know how that is. Eventually, I will want to get my like mascot and stuff on my leg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one from like the poster?
It is, but
Okay.
different art style and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That art style that it's in is like from if he was stoned, like that perspective.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't show this tattoo I share with them, this one I share with them, the rose. And pretty much that's symbolic stuff because the butterfly is for my late daughter online daughter who helped me out with skits and recordings and anytime I needed someone to be in a video she was always there. She had Moya Moya and EB. EB's a rare skin disorder where any friction that right there would have just ripped off my forearm.
Really?
Skin, yeah. She passed away May 4th last year due to skin cancer finally caught up.
Oh, sure.
But people with their first disease usually only don't last till 19. She was 24.
Oh shit.
So she made it a lot past, and later, like before she passed, she started CBD and THC.
Yeah.
Which did help a lot, which I mean, I'm happy she's not in pain, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah, since she's my online daughter and stuff, that's why I put that same butterfly on Roadkill, because when my studio gets to the origin studio story, obviously there's gonna be a character that's representative of her.
Yeah, for sure.
And why it's a butterfly is people with EB are called butterfly children because of the whole, like, you know, caterpillar, butterfly thing, shedding their skin. No, yeah, I know we're gonna do a character for her. I still gotta call her parents and see how, like, deep and in depth we can exactly go.
Yeah.
Because they know about it, they know we're gonna do it, and they're fine with it. It's just I don't want to exactly like go too far.
Yeah, because that's sketchy.
Yeah.
Not sketchy, but it could be maybe like too invasive, maybe.
Yeah. Mainly because we do got to go deep for it. I mean, as you saw on the poster there, technically it's a half rat, half falcon.
Yeah.
Full stoner demon, like half demon. But he like goes after demons or whatever, which is just a teaser thing for my screenplay, but
yeah,
still.
What would be your dream? Like if you could just, for where you're like trying to bring your career right now, what would be your end goal?
It sounds kind of end goal? Oh.
Like what are you like
name
pushing
is
towards?
what I want to be. Like a household name, but like not just any, like one that actually can be educational too.
Yeah.
Like there's just a bunch of stuff.
That'd be what you could do every day the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish with anything could skip the whole like establishing bit, working for and stuff. Like yeah, each day, each like year, you get closer and stuff. But it's just been through like this is like my 5th or something team. It's crazy. 'Cause, like I know like later down the line it'll be easier, especially get people signed, like, contract wise. But right now, just gotta deal with what you gotta deal with.
Yeah, but like in the end, as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
You're not making millions, but you're making a nice living doing what you love. I'm gonna have to make sure when I post this one that I block my grandmother from seeing it. She would not be too happy.
Yeah, my grandma probably won't like this one.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be religious, but I'm more spiritual. And
yeah.
I believe like I don't know, I believe in a bunch of like that there may be truth to like a bunch of different stuff, but yeah, way more spiritual.
Yeah. I really thought you were making a Will Smith joke earlier when you asked about slaps.
I hope that people at the expo do too, because like, I don't know, that's so new. And like,
I've never heard of that before. I've heard of like the joke, like
Yeah.
people get a new tattoo and they get slapped. There we go.
So who are you?
I am Brent Buchanan.
And where are we right now?
We are in my tattoo shop over on Main Street in Nashwaaksis, Fredericton.
And most likely they just saw the tattoo I got, which will be a kind of teaser for the Tattoo Expo. So what is the Tattoo Expo?
The Tattoo Expo is a convention for tattoo artists to come and showcase their amazing art and their amazing talent, possibly for a tattoo artist to come and win a trophy, take the trophy home and put it up in their shop. And I think mainly, if you were to ask a tattoo artist, it's mainly just to come and hang out and meet new friends, reminisce with old friends, get out of the shop for a while and travel and see and be inspired by other tattoo artists. I think that's the gist of the whole Tattoo Expo and any convention.
In 2017, you originally came up with the idea. Why is that?
You want the honest truth?
Yes.
The honest truth was, and I'm going to be completely honest, I quit drinking after having quite the career in
Much
drinking.
respect for that.
Yeah, I had a quite the career in daily drinking, let's just put it that way. And I love the art of tattooing. I don't tattoo myself.
Yeah.
But I needed something to occupy my mind. I needed to keep my mind busy, or else it would easily take me back to where I was. And so I noticed that Moncton had a tattoo expo or convention, Hub City. I noticed that Halifax at the time had one as well, and I asked myself, why doesn't Fredericton? And that's when the 2018 tattoo convention, how that all came about at the Fredericton Inn, and the rest is history.
So this will be the third, however, it's supposed to be the fifth.
Yeah. Thanks to COVID.
Yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah.
What do you think it's gonna be like this year for actually finally being able to get out and see humanity and people?
I think the Tattoo Expo is going to be really big this year. I think there's a lot of interest, and it's hard for me to gauge because you don't know, right? I'm gauging mainly through social media, the reaction on social media. I've reached out to quite a few artists to find out if they're booking up, and find out if they're getting some emails and people interested in booking with them. And from the reaction that I'm getting from the tattoo artists, and from the reaction I'm getting from the tattoo collectors and enthusiasts in town, they're all pretty excited that the Tattoo Expo is back this year. So,
somewhat touching upon why you did the expo, do you feel like tattoos are a way of a coping mechanism, and or
there's a lot of people that come in to my shop, and I'm sure a lot of other shops, that need a tattoo to help them get over a loved one, to help them get over a pet, to cover scars. You know, there's a lot of things a tattoo can do. I find getting tattooed is relaxing. I go to sleep. I have a nap when I get tattooed. I love it, and it's relaxing for me, but a lot of other people come in and they find it very therapeutic to get a tattoo.
I feel the same, and I also feel like it's also a way to connect with people all at once from different walks of earth and different cultures. And yes, it is a beauty thing, and it does stem from a bad part of history, but with everything, especially about it changing, a lot of people are more open.
Totally.
So that brings a lot more of a new crowd into expos and adopts more people into the family of body modification.
Exactly. I do want to mention that there is one difference this year for the expo. It's going to be at the Capitol Exhibit Center this year, not at the Convention Center. 2019, it was at the Trade and Convention Center downtown, the Fredericton Convention Center. But we're going to the Capitol Exhibit Center on the exhibition grounds.
Oh, that's going to be new. Oh, that's going to be
It's all one level.
Yeah.
It's a bigger room. Lots of parking.
Yeah.
There's food vendors outside. There's Tim Hortons across the parking lot. There's Williams Seafood across the parking lot. The Delta, which is our host hotel, is just down the Woodstock Road a little ways.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be beneficial for the patron and also the artists and the vendors as well.
And just the community too. Just finally being able to get out and get new tats and more. And,
there's a lot of talented artists coming this year. It blows my mind. We have a tattoo shop, Human Canvas, coming all the way from Calgary, Alberta, which is pretty amazing. We got Tom Bowman coming up from New York, who was on season 9 of Ink Master.
Yeah, gotta actually make new and different interview questions for him.
He's a great.
And anyone that's coming from Ink and stuff, because obviously I don't want to say the same questions when they've been on Ink and have been on seasons and can dive into that, both the chaos of it and
behind the scenes. Exactly. But we got RJ from Uptown Tattoos in Montreal. We've got Christelle, who is just an amazing black and gray portrait artist from Montreal. Marie Michelle Cote from Sherbrooke, I think. A lot of people coming from Quebec, Ontario. Kurt Silver coming back again from Nova Scotia. An amazing artist.
I was supposed to go to him for a tattoo. Never got around because I didn't have concept for it.
Right.
And it's in Nova Scotia. And my family is there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I would have to drive 2 or 3 hours to him and then back. And then, take it easy for...
But the best bet is if you want to get a tattoo and you have something specific in mind, contact the artist, go to the website. Website's a little different too. It's freddytattooexpo.ca. Not Fredericton Tattoo Expo, it's freddytattooexpo.ca. Go to the tattoo website and check out all the artists that are coming, find out the artist that most likely appeals to you and your taste and the style that you want and what you would like. Reach out to those artists and see if they're booked. And if they're not booked, then book an appointment. If you don't know what you want for the expo, just come and walk around. There's going to be all kinds of tattoo artists there with flash, which is pre-designed artwork from the artist. Most of the flash is stuff that the artist really wants to do, and so they can slap that on your skin, and away you go pretty quick. And if you just want to come and walk around, we do have a little bit of live entertainment. We've got the tattoo contest each day, which is pretty wild and crazy and a lot of fun. And we have a lot of really interesting vendors that are going to be on site. Just to name a few, we have Little Bear's Trading Post, which is up in Toronto. They deal with animal skulls and yeah, it's really cool. We have the Sydney Auditorium, ODD Auditorium. They have a lot of really odd stuff. And some weird,
we're all those here.
Yeah, some weird rocks and gems and moon rocks, and it's really cool. We've got a couple of ladies coming from Moncton, and they do clay mugs, like in the shape of skulls and all that sort of stuff. And we'll have just a whole bunch of. We've got a local artist that's going to be painting on site. We've got an airbrush artist, Brad McIntyre, who's amazing, and it's just it's a lot of fun. Just it's $15 to come in for the day. Walk around, meet new people, check out the artwork, check out the live tattooing that's going on. When you have almost 100 tattoo artists in one room, it's pretty noisy. The machines aren't as loud as they used to be, but it is pretty electrifying feeling to have all that talent in one room and they're all tattooing. So come on out and have some fun.
And lastly, I've seen that there has been some, let's just say, that has been going around and acting like the Freddy Tattoo Expo.
Oh,
like that scammer on Insta.
Yeah. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, and no. I just want to say, it's not them.
No.
Like Brent said, the link is
FreddyTattooExpo.ca.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you